Hey, yeah, Talk just texted the group chat, so yeah. MPJ revenge game now. Nice.
Is that what we call it?
Huh? Yo, yo.
What's good, y'all? Hello, hello.
Out through to the stream. Okay. You should be able to hear me now. I'm gonna drag Real Talk back in here. I think he went back to the VC. Let me see real quick if I can just directly link him because he's not a Discord person, which is fair. I feel like that is a regular thing. Let me invite him this way. Real
What's good, chat? Chris, I
Talk.
need to know what happened last time. Spewing BS about Steph. What BS was that?
Oh, y'all
I-
see a chat? I don't see the chat.
I have it pulled up
Oh,
on the side on the
on the
second monitor.
chat,
Uh,
yes. The chat is on YouTube, but don't worry. I'm gonna read out all the majorities of the stuff. I'm gonna send him the link on Twitter as well in case he still doesn't see this. Chat, he's not late, okay? He was here. He just got hold a little bit. Let me send this to him real quick. And then I'll just copy
I
and
really need to
paste.
find. I need to find a winning take. I know I wasn't this bad.
I need to find a winning take.
Because I'm just mad at myself. Like, I feel good about the Harden take. I feel good about Cade. Like, I'm looking back at the point guard
I think
list.
Gabe's probably one of those. I think Gabe's probably one of those for you, no?
Yeah, like I was high on Cade, so I feel good about it. The Luke and Shea one is literally the thumbnail, so we'll talk about that. But
Yeah.
I wasn't high enough on Maxi. That's what I'm mad at myself for. Played it too
Yeah.
safe.
I think you played it way too safe with Tyree. Pretty early in the season, I've been saying Maxi has been all NBA, but we'll get to that conversation soon on that one.
Yeah, it doesn't help me like show it, like, you know what I mean. It's like I should have just stood on business, trusted, had faith in my guy, but I just trusted bad things would happen to the Sixers. So that's why.
Let me know if that works.
Guys, and you, well, listen, this is a few months ago, man. So
Zero chance any real human. Yeah, chat, like let's save all those talking points because I promise
yeah,
you
true.
we're gonna have room for all of those. We're just trying to get Real Talk in here as fast as possible. He was in here, but for some reason he left out and went back to the Watching Hoops channel. I'm trying to see real quick if we can get him back in here. But we do have a lot of things to address for today's EP. How long has it been since we like recorded? Like
Brother.
weeks?
bro, it's been half a year, bro. Yeah, he telling some weeks.
Yeah, I don't think we measured in
Legitimately
weeks.
been 2 months. I think it's been
Yeah.
2 months for real. And
At least.
think-
Yeah, a solid 2 months for sure.
I think it's
For
actually
sure.
been that long. You're probably right.
Playback's been KO'd for how long now?
Playback KO December. I think like the first week of
So-
December, no?
Yeah.
and
So
we hadn't recorded for a month.
Yeah,
before
exactly.
Playback
I
got-
forgot
yeah.
about that. You're right. Because we were talking about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, Playback is dead. It's just like, need some time to figure some
Yeah.
things out and whatnot. So
Yep.
yeah, that was the thing.
How do I search for this? I need 3-player lineups.
I'm not gonna lie,
'Cause
Wes, I
I-
will say this. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is the next time that we link up to talk anything preseason, I'm gonna write it out in specific notes that are documented in terms of dates. Cause it's harder to like have every clip saved, but like writing down our takes and having it like formatted cleanly in a nice Google Doc will be a great way to go back. I can't lie to you. I think that's a good idea next time. Yeah.
Okay. It's crazy. I'm looking at my top 15 player list.
There we go.
Boy, oh boy. It's only one. Well, two people that stick out or three rather, like a sore thumb.
Is one of them because of injury? Because one of mine's because of injury.
Actually, I'll just say them. It's Embiid, AD, and Zion.
Okay, you guys were on that Zion train.
Listen. We gonna get to all these takes in a minute.
True. I'll try to hold my. Yeah, I'll try.
Oh, shoot,
I hear you.
It is a lot. Real quick, is my camera in reverse right now or no?
It doesn't look like it is. No.
Okay, for you guys, it does.
Mine is.
I think for the YouTube stream, it does. I don't know.
I don't even see your camera.
Oh shit!
I'm just upside down.
Now Derek's camera is flipped, and now he's not in his camera.
Not in the camera.
Yeah, no, it's showing us the curtain behind you.
Yeah, it is. Trying to fix that with this remote, but it does not want to budge.
How will I?
Don't make me manually flip that. All right, hold on. Let's try this again. Come on, remote.
All right, Chet, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to just flip this in OBS real quick. Let me go back to full cam and just flip this horizontally.
That's one flip.
Oh, that's boy, your flip look
close enough. Funny. Just trying to get this straightened out so it goes back to reverse, but then I got to fix this.
Chat, bear with us. We have not recorded in quite literally 2 months, so it's going to take
time, so we forgot how to function.
Yeah, we forgot how to function here. It's this. Okay, boom. So now when I minus this out and we go back to, what is it? I think film it was in. Yeah, film. Okay, that should be regular now, I think.
If the link isn't sending him here.
It's not? Okay, hang on. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Open Discord and just go to the channel titled Watching Hoops and join that voice channel. All he has to do is get there. I'll drag him, and then we're good to go. I promise. I just flipped my camera horizontally, so it should be tweaked out now. I think.
Yeah, no, it's better. Okay, I did something. Well, that did. It did budge for a hot second. Okay, now that works. So if I flip, now I gotta
podcast go. Late. Like the game.
There we go.
I'm not too mad at like however this first stream turns out, because to me, I view this as like the first episode. New season. We have not recorded in like 2 months. I promise we're gonna try to be a bit more consistent on those times and whatnot. But I'm just happy to be here to talk some basketball because, okay, perfect. He's there now. So now I just drag Real Talk. Okay, Real Talk, do not leave the channel. I dragged you. Run. You should be good now, Real Talk.
But it's just showing me like, okay.
Yes. You're here, but your camera's not on. But we hear you right now. We do hear you. Yes. This is not working. So this isn't flipped, but then when we go back here, this is flipped for some reason. I don't know why.
In chat, I'm on the road, so I cannot cam up today, but I am here for you all.
Yes, what's the audio?
So just bear with me. I'll be back on cam next time.
Yeah. Perfect. Real talk. We see you loud and clear now. So you should be good to go. Let me full screen this.
I leave the Discord to the children. I know this is a young man's app.
You have one now, man. You gotta learn the ropes.
Man, I just learned how to share the screen 2 days ago.
Hey man, listen. I'm gonna say this right now, bro. Okay, and this is no disrespect, but like I think playback was definitely taken for granted in terms of just how to start streams and go live. I feel like a lot of people.
No one taking it for granted by me. They made it simple and plain. That's what I like.
You press the button, go live. A lot of groups I've talked to, like specifically because they don't want to go through all of like the difficulty of doing it off playback and doing it through Twitch or YouTube, have just kind of given up. But we're here. I'm happy to be here with you guys. First off, Happy New Year to everyone, to Wes, Derek, and Real Talk. We have not recorded together in about 2 months. A lot of basketball has transpired since that point, but I just want to get the brief 2026 intros in. How are y'all feeling in this new year right now?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. Happy New Year to you as well. The rest of the fellas, chat as well. Yeah, my New Year is off to a bang. I dropped on the 1st. I spent a lot of time with family during my 2-week break from school, so I'm just grateful.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everybody. Same 2026 has started off very well. I've had a video hit 10K. My first video in 26 hit 10K. My stream bought online hit 10K as well today. So yeah, we're starting 2026 off very well.
W. Yeah, I mean, likewise here. Really, it's just been family and friends, enjoyed some time off. Just enjoying the holidays, try and prep for a better 2026. And pretty much it. It's just good to be back recording. Yeah, I mean, losing playback sucks, but doesn't mean we can't talk ball still. And it's been a great season so far. So I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, it's been some good basketball. I can't wait to get into the specifics of how the season has been going. Me personally, I'm happy to be back. I ran into a couple of different opportunities that I think, been able to take advantage of and grow in that way. I'm happy to fully be back on YouTube now. So excited for what is to come. But as Real Talk said, basketball has been great. Since it's been so long, I think it made perfect sense to, I guess, just recap the first stretch of the season. I would say like a fourth of basketball has been played so far. Is that fair to say?
A third. We're I mean,
a third. Okay, yeah.
Some of these teams are around already 30 some odd games, so almost already halfway through the season for real.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What are we up to? We're at least 36 games in for most teams. So yeah. It's crazy, man.
NBA season be flying by, man.
It's wild because like the offseason felt like for me that it was kind of shorter than it normally feels. And then we're starting the season and we're already within January. I mean, chat, in like three months, playoff time is here. So exactly. Like we finna be getting off a lot of different agendas when we get to that arc of the season. But I wanted to do our biggest takes, both good or bad, coming into the season and where we are with these takes right now. I know we had a lot of players and characters that we are following. We can start with some positive takes or some bad takes first. I want to start with my biggest take. In my opinion this year, I felt like people were dogpiling Boston. I feel like that was a thing. Like I feel like a lot of people feel like they would be a 9 seed, a 10 seed. I didn't know exactly how good this team would be. I thought they would be better than people had thought. But I got to say this. I did not think Jaylen Brown was gonna be this good at basketball. I'm gonna just say it. I thought he would be good. I thought he would be better than last year. I gave him a ton of grace. But in my opinion, and this might be a hot one, the way Jaylen Brown is playing, I think it's comparable to Tatum's best season, if not better. It's early right now. It's super duper early. But here's my thing. The consistency of what I've been seeing Jaylen Brown get to routinely, game to game to game to game to game to game to game, even though he might have some flaws, Jaylen Brown's been playing at an all NBA level pretty much since the beginning of the season. And I just think that level of play is not something I thought he would be getting to this season. He literally had 50 points yesterday. So that's my biggest take, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm as far as the Jaylen Brown thing, I did predict preseason. I said I thought he could average like 28 points, make an all NBA team, but he's playing even better than I expected. I'm sure Wes is feeling great and fantastic about that, by the way. I know he's a JB guy. But yeah, Jaylen Brown has been absolutely phenomenal. He's been phenomenal. And I can't even lie. Like, I even said, like, I remember I was in a space. It may have been a Facts and Stats space. Shout out to them. Yeah, but I do know Wes was present. And I was like, I think Jaylen Brown's a better scorer than Tatum.
Yes.
And I think that conversation is kind of like done for, especially now that his handle is a little bit tighter. I just like his shot profile better. That's really what it boils down to. He's a really good mid-range player. He utilizes it. He's able to get to the basket. And if Jaylen Brown is able to hit threes, catch and shoot, or pull up, which he is this season, I think that kind of is that's a case closed as far as that scoring department. But his growth as a passer and a playmaker is seen as well. Just as an offensive engine, he's able to be a really good offensive engine for this Boston team. And the five of Pritchard, Walsh, Brown, Derek White, and Kadar actually have the best net rating in the league. Actually, they have the best five lineup in the league. So shout out to the Celtics and shout out to Jaylen Brown.
Real talk, stats. Y'all know where I stand. Chat, y'all know what I'm on behind JB. Anyone who knows me knows he's one of my favorite players in the entire league. Really, only person who comes before him is Russ, and that's a whole legacy play. Like, JB is everything to me, man, and I've been here for years. I remember 2022 saying that he was him. It was back in the stage where him was just emerging, what it meant to be him. Whether or not you were all uppercase or capital H or lowercase, etc., all of that was being thrown around, and people were clowning me and everything. But I'm just proud of the guy, man. I'm proud of the way he's applied himself. You could tell he's really taking the time to study his game a lot more. And yeah, I love what I'm seeing. So I won't bore you all with too much. But shout out JB for sure.
Man, listen, I'm gonna keep it a band. I'm gonna keep it all the way funky. When I watched Jaylen Brown a couple seasons ago, he irritated me a ton as a basketball player. And there's some positives he had for sure. There are some moments I just can't get out of my head again, how he played, I feel like, versus the Heat in that series. But the one thing I always give Jaylen Brown is he was consistently available and played through injuries a ton. I got to give him a lot of, I think, highlights for that. But I think I will be selling him short to say that he proved me wrong more than saying he got better as a player. I think the progression of Jaylen Brown's game took big leaps this year. I think he's easily been one of the most effective mid-range scorers. I don't have, I think, the numbers in front of me, but his shot diet is just way more, I think, within reason this season. And just like, Chad, I'm sorry, but the way that I do things, a average can mean a lot of things, right? You can average 35 points, and in game one, you had 60 points, and in game two, 8, right? Like, that average breaks down. He's been like going through a scoring tear of 35, 40, 30. Like he's been consistently doing this on a night to night basis. And this is on a team that a lot of people had in the dumps. So it's crazy because I never thought I would say this. I promise you, I never thought, like, we were having arguments about, will Jason Tatum ever win an MVP in this era? And now Jaylen Brown is in those same talk, just in terms of how he's playing right now. I know it's still early, all this and all that, but I think credit is due. I do believe that.
Yeah, I think last night, truly, I think prior to last night, it was like, it was fair for people to have real pushback to where he is in the MVP talk. I think last night he solidified himself. I think legitimately he should be ahead of Luka. And one night can do that. I don't want to, I'm not saying he's a better basketball player than Luka. But legitimately, last night, and it's my first tweet about basketball all season. I had not been saying anything about basketball whatsoever. It all been music, music, music. Last night, his performance was so impressive, I had to tweet about him twice. That is arguably the best performance I've seen this season. He was phenomenal. And I think for, every MVP, not saying he's going to win the award, because obviously Shea exists, so whatever. But every player who's at least in the conversation, they have a moment. And my gosh, last night was a moment, man. You had to stay up late to see it, but for those who tuned in, what a special showing we got to witness last night. So, I know Derek can't say too much about it being a Philly fan, but man, it's been special.
I'll give my flowers to Jaylen real quick. I mean, it's to piggyback off of what everyone said already. Like, I think a lot of this is a linear progression for Jaylen, because I think he has been pretty good at a lot of these skills, and this season they just look more refined or have come together. Like, the three-point shooting, he's shown glimpses before of being more consistent on catch and shoot. This year, it's not his career high volume, but it's really steady percentage and looks. The free throws have gotten better. The rate has gotten much better. His decision making in the mid range, I think, is also better. To like Real Talk's point about the shot profile, I think some of it is there's just not as many log jam shots. And I think without JT, this isn't a shot at him, but I feel like it's opened up the roles of we need to maximize spacing and how we're getting our threes. And that's helping JB when he's not taking the threes, getting into the lane, making good decisions. And I think the passing is one thing I got to give credit to JB. Tatum during the team's finals run really stepped up as a playmaker, right? Was clearly the team's like offensive engine. JB has been steadily getting better as a passer. Never a great one, never asked to do that much, but making good decisions, not ball hogging. He's done that like really, really well this year. So I think that's the thing I got to give him the most credit for, on top of obviously the team's success. So I'm genuinely impressed as far as the MVP conversation, because to Wes's point, I've heard quite a bit of buzz. Obviously, I agree as far as the Shea thing. I think right now he's got a pretty firm hold. The 65 games thing is a conversation. I know Real Talk, you just did an episode about that, discussing that whole situation and the many different trains of thought behind that. But I was just curious. I went to the MVP ladder. This came out January 2nd, was an article from NBA.com. JB was sitting at number 7 in the conversation. That also includes Wemby, Luka, and Jokic, who obviously games, need to be played. But Jalen Brunson, Shea, and Cade are the names that were also ahead of JB. So I think JB, it's one of those situations like a JT, which we talked about before with the MVP conversation. He might never win. He might be in the conversation like 4 or 5 some years. I think that's what JB's falling into. But credit to Boston, because right now JB is more than earning that paycheck and is keeping them afloat.
If all things go, planned for the Celtics, I do actually think that Jaylen Brown potentially can have a higher MVP finish than Jason Tatum ever has this particular season, just because I think that narrative, the thing that's been holding Jason Tatum back in those talks, besides even, just the pure play, is the narrative about the team, right? The narrative about the Celtics has always been, oh, they're a really good team. He doesn't have to do as much as some other superstars. But when you consider the fact that, Drew Holiday is gone, Jason Tatum is gone, Al Horford is gone, Porzingis isn't there, right? Even Luke Kornet is gone. So there's a narrative that this team, is kind of depleted from their last rendition, and they're still at the top of the Eastern Conference. I think that can bode well for Jaylen Brown in an MVP discussion. So I think right now I would probably have him. You can argue that he's as high as 3 after Shea and Jokic. Like I don't think for sure that Luka is just beating him in the MVP race right now. I know I've gotten the tag of Luka hater here recently, but he has an argument with everybody else outside of the top 2, in my opinion, for the MVP talk. So yeah, shout out to JB.
I just need to say this again, man. The fact that we are all comfortably saying he's deserving of being a top 7 MVP candidate is that level of jump from a player from last season, Jaylen Brown, to this season is just outstanding, and it deserves a lot of credit. But again, I do want to ask y'all, do you think it's gas to say this version of Jaylen Brown is better than the best version of Tatum? Is that gas to y'all?
As of right now, I just think it's too early to say it. I don't know if I
agree with
would
that.
say gas or anything. It's just so early. I want to let him finish. Now, I will say Tatum, and this is no disrespect, just being real. This is the time of year where Tatum would dip. He'd start to hit a wall.
That's true.
He'd become more inefficient. He would not be nearly as consistent. And his performances from November and December would really start to tail off. And when they were playing together, when they were both healthy, this is when Jaylen Brown would typically start to pick it up. And then right out after the All-Star break, he started to pick it up. So it'll be interesting if he can maintain his level of consistency and that level of play that he's had thus far, especially over the last month and some change. He's been otherworldly. If he can keep that up, for sure, I think it's fair because although I would say Tatum was better defensively, JB, with his scoring, I do think the offensive conversation, it's a conversation to be had. The metrics will never fare in JB's favor. The metrics will always, according to the metrics, Derek White has been their best player this year. So it's there are reasons to say no, but I know what I'm watching. I think, all of us feel like we know what we're watching. And I can say I didn't feel this way when I was watching Tatum hoop. But again, that's because he would hit a wall. And it would be like, oh, you knew what was coming. If JB doesn't, I don't see why not,
No. Quite frankly. 2022, 2023, Jason Tatum was just as good of an offensive player, if not even slightly better, due to the passing, the playmaking, and as a better defender than Jaylen Brown is right now. So I would say no, Jaylen Brown isn't better than any version, well, the best version of Jason Tatum, but it is close. He's definitely closed that gap between Tatum at his best and now our version of Brown at his best, who's a better player. But I'm taking Tatum.
I think the thing is because Brown this season is in some very elite company and situationally is in, again, not winning, but in the MVP race, let's say, right? The best version of Tatum would be higher than this Brown is in the race. You know what I mean? In that consideration, I will give credit that, to Wes's point, D. White probably by some metrics is considered the best Celtic. Brown doing this with so much less offensive help, but the scheme is just benefiting him, I think is also impressive. But I think Tatum, even for his flaws, and it does crack me up every time we record, we manage to find a way to bash Tatum, which does make me laugh. But it's like Tatum was the Swiss Army knife on top of being like a high level player. So he just was doing things better than JB. Like JB's progression as a passer that I just complimented, Tatum's came earlier and was better than even Brown's passing is right now. So I feel like that's the difference for me on top of the defense and whatnot. So I don't know. I think Brown, it's just really exciting to watch. I don't see, it's tough to envision this maintaining, I think is the other thing, which that's fine. But if he finishes the season, he went from okay all-star last year to certifiable, confident all-NBA player, which is a pretty great improvement.
I just think that begs the question of if Tatum comes back now, how does that ironically, if Tatum comes back and he's let's say a couple of ticks below last year Tatum, how confident is Boston in terms of we can go to the finals this year?
He shouldn't come back. I'm telling you that, right? He should not come back this year. Personally.
Maybe. And I'll say not even maybe. I agree with that. I do think, though, I think it's inevitable. I think he's coming back.
Yeah, I think he's
barring a setback, I think he'll be on the court. And I think if I can't imagine him coming back and being so much lesser of a basketball player that they're not the favorite. Now granted, I do see a world where he comes back and he is playing second fiddle, which I think will be good for him coming back off the injury. I don't know if you all agree, but I think it could be really good for him to be able to come back and seeing that JB has taken this ascension. And I mean, can you imagine, just bear with me, guys. Yeah. Tatum now added to that team and added to the level of player Jaylen Brown has become. Oh, man, the advantages, the looks that they get. Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, I think they'll be the favorite. I do think they hell, as long as he's on the court, I'm picking them to come out the East. I don't believe in Detroit and to that degree. And I don't believe in the Knicks either. We'll get there. I know I won't, go too far ahead. But, yeah, and I do want to say this, though, just so it can be said. Jaylen Brown, if you ever hit this, know I'm always on your side. Last year, we saw an injured Jaylen Brown. The year before, we saw All-NBA. He wasn't this level, but we saw an All-NBA caliber player. We saw a guy who won the Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And we saw a guy who was very capable
undeserving,
of, I mean, some say that.
I don't think that even if Tatum comes back, they're a better team than the Knicks. Two people don't win a series. Takes a team. I think their front court is too bad of a front court. I think Mitchell Robinson and Cat dominate in that area. And then on top of that, I do think that OG is a great matchup defensively against both Tatum and Brown because he brings that physicality at the wing position. And then even Mikal Bridges did a good job on them the last series that we did just see the Knicks beat them with the better team. Yes, Jason Tatum went down, but they were down in the series when he went down and even lost the game where he went crazy from 40 something. So I just think the Knicks are a better team. I think they have a better roster right now. And even with Tatum coming back, I don't have them as a favorites, which is why I don't think he should come back. But as Wes said, I do believe that there's been too many bad signals that he is going to be playing this year.
Way too many videos of him in the gym.
He's going to play. So, but I don't think they're the favorite with him back.
I would say this. I think the Eastern Conference is open. And it's funny because we said this in the offseason, the East is going to probably be most likely open. We just weren't sure of what teams would be the most, I think, competitive. I think a lot of us just gave grace to the Cavs. I've kind of been disappointed with what I've seen from the Cavs as of late, but the top of the East is still what we thought it could be. The Knicks, Cleveland, Detroit surprised a lot of people. I like Detroit. I go see these games. I'm telling you right now, unless they commit to my favorite young player probably in Detroit, Mr. Dennis, who by the way just had a breakout game today. They
Yeah.
have issues with shot creation. I do like their defense a lot more than last year though, but how consistent that'll actually translate, we don't know. A lot of these teams are still on paper teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the Magic are going to probably get better, but that's a whole other segment we got to get to later. So, yeah. That's just my thing though right there. So, big shout out overall to Jaylen Brown. How about you, Derek? What was in your opinion, your best or bad take before the season started and how it is right now? Let me know.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. I think I'm kind of tied right now as far as I mean, one's worse than the other. I'm desperately trying to find something that was like really good, but it wasn't quite as much. I mean, just to put a pin in real quick as far as the Boston thing, the reason why I don't want Tatum on top of obviously like the injury, re-injury risk, I really think Boston should see what they have right now. Like, does D White do better in a playoff series as a second option? Like, how viable is he long term? What is Peyton Pritchard like actually for this team as, you know, 6-man starter fringe type thing? I think they should also move Simon's contract still, but like, I'd rather just see what happens and then next season reload. Like, just see how does JB hold up against, you know, as the number one option against real defenses for a series. I feel like those are important questions to answer. So I really hope that happens. But to your point, and I think we all agree, Tatum will be back at some point. I think it's kind of funny to some degree that Tatum should take a bit of a backseat. And like I called him last year, is the super version of Scottie Pippen. And I think that's what his future should be. And so if he comes back, I think he should just do that. And, JB gets to play, discount MJ for a little bit. So it should be fun. But to your point, for takes, I think the most infamous take I had earlier this season was all about Paolo, and to a lesser extent, the Magic. This is the one that's biting me so far this season. Paolo early on regressed. There's no other way to put it. Regressed pretty badly, and is just now kind of coming back to what we saw for a good portion of last year. And so I think that's the one that's biting me the hardest right now, has not aged well, because he and the Magic as a whole have disappointed thus far.
Yeah, Paulo hasn't been great. I was another on the Paulo train. I thought Paulo was going to have a quasi breakout season this year. That has not happened, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting off this train at the very next stop. Right, as soon as it stops, I'm off the train. I just don't think that he's, quite frankly, that bright of a basketball player, and that has to go into your evaluation. Like, you can see the talent. Me and Derek see the talent. The talent is there. The physical attributes are there, but he has to be smart enough to know how to use it. And unfortunately, I don't know if he is. And also just a bad jump shooter. Like, he's even like shot less jump shots. He is getting to the line and to the rim a little bit more. But even with that, like, he still takes jump shots. He's just legit a bad jump shooter. He's an awful jump shooter. So until that gets better with how many jumpers he wants to take anyway, I mean, we're just going to be looking at an inefficient player for hopefully not his entire career. But yeah. That's what we have right now.
I'm gonna let Wes go ahead first.
Thus far, I would say my worst take.
Oh no,
my worst take.
on like the Paulo thing real quick, Wes.
Oh, okay. Sticking on Paulo. Well, this is something I actually happen to be right on. I hit on it. Yeah, man. Pat on the back for me. Nah, but I hope one day he does make the necessary adjustments and improvements to see his game flourish. But yeah, I think a lot of the rhetoric around Jaylen Brown applies to Paolo, and not in the sense of can't go left and some of the trolls, but around his game and his play style, play type. I just it's not pretty stuff, man. And I think that he falls into his holes just way more often than a lot of other people do. But I think it's common when you've been pegged to be this number one scorer who just genuinely has never shown it outside of getting hot in the playoffs for a week. And I don't subscribe to stuff like that. So, but shout out to the guy, and he's still very young. And that's the biggest thing that's on his side, excuse me. And I was about to say also him having that much size, I think bodes well for the future. And young players, everything doesn't click within the first 3 or 4 seasons sometimes. Sometimes you need your seventh season to really make sense of things. So I still believe in him for the future. But yeah, I knew Desmond Bain, that addition wouldn't alone make him a top 10 player in the league. Like he's just not that guy. So
I'm gonna be so real with y'all, man. I also came out unscathed. I didn't want to get on the bus with Paolo, partially because I just felt like Franz and Paolo weren't that far off, even though how teams covered them in the playoffs slightly differ, where Paolo was better than him. I do want to be fair because Franz and Paolo have both been hurt. I mean, Paolo has only played 25 games. Franz, I'm pretty sure, isn't significantly past that because he just got hurt. The one thing I think we can all agree on with this Magic team is it seems like Paolo and Franz always play their best basketball when the other one isn't playing. The problem with Paolo is it reached a point where he just wasn't playing well regardless. Anthony Black is a lot better than we talked about. I think he's having a real breakout season for them, which is humongous for them. And Bane has found a way to get it going. But I think the issue with Paolo is just, I still think, even though he's made improvements on this, the shot diet and the timing. Like, why are you going for a one-legged step back three for game if you're Paolo Banchero? Right? Like those are parts of like the problems that I have with his game, but he is still a younger player. But I think the way it was talked about, he would be a all NBA caliber season this year, and he just is so far from that right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. It's like all-star caliber was assumed, let alone like pushing well for all NBA, and he's not playing like an all-star. So it's not boding well. I mean, I think Real Talk is right as far as the IQ thing has been possibly the most disappointing because it just, like you said, it's a self-awareness thing. Like that jump shot for game, like, I mean, it's just a bad shot for most good players. Like, yeah, Paolo just shouldn't be taking that regardless. You can get a better look. I will say, like, not that this is an excuse because Paolo has to wear all this himself. He's put himself in this hole. But Jamal Mosley, I think, unfortunately, is looking very much in the hot seat. I think even if the Magic can like pull some of this out, because you have offensive pieces that should be better. Like, I'm sorry, Desmond Bane regressing to an under 36% 3-point shooter for most of the season, for almost half the season to this point. Like something's off there because he's been one of the NBA's best snipers since he's been in the league. And like you're getting Anthony Black. So like you're finally getting good guard play on a pretty consistent night-to-night basis with two dynamic forwards. Why is that not resulting in better offense? So again, this is not an excuse. Paolo has not played well. He like I own the backfire of the take, but it's tough, man, because I really think this is a better roster than it's shown thus far. But yeah, shout out to Anthony Black. I think he's making a very strong campaign for most improved, or at least six man, something along those lines. So that's been nice to see. But yeah, man, it's Magic rough start.
They're usually a really good team when Jalen Suggs is available and playing, but Jalen Suggs just stays hurt, man.
Yeah, man.
Stays injured. Something's always wrong with him. Always beat up. He's kind of reminding me of like Marcus Smart in that sense. Like that guard, there's just always something wrong with him.
Right.
Like every single time. But yeah, if he could stay healthy for them, the emergence of Anthony Black, Desmond Bain, he had a rough start to the season, but I think he's been playing better like as the season is going on. I'm still very high on them as a team, as the collective, if they can bring it all together. But as far as Paulo individually, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm right where I was. I didn't really buy into the Orlando hype. I thought that they could be a team that at their best can make it to like the second round, be really frisky, but I didn't really see them going past that range. And that was with me assuming that Franz would be the best player on the team. I do have genuine questions about when they get fully healthy, how does it look? Because I swear to you, even Franz, as good as he was, doesn't look the greatest when he's next to Paolo and vice versa. Like they have to find a way to make that work at full strength. But they have so many guys that get hurt. Jalen Suggs, another guy that's been injury prone. Like that's the biggest story out of that team right now. And I do think their coach is very much on the hot seat. So it'll be funny to see how that goes. That does remind me of a take that I had that I feel like I was just yapping if I'm being so real with you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Really listen, really long off season. Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks, man. I think that I had a feeling that Trae Young would have his best year as a pro. Could not be further from the truth. He's missed. Yeah, I know, man. He's missed a lot of time, to be fair to Trae Young, like a lot of time. But it does not help that the Hawks actually looked better without him. We all up here, I'm pretty sure we all said this year was going to be an all-star year for, I believe, Jalen Johnson. We were all high on like what he could turn into. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I didn't see the leap coming from him. I can't lie to you. And like, I knew he was good. I was high on him when he was a player for the Pelicans, but for them to be playing at such a high level and then Trae Young comes back and they're right back to being shit, I don't know what to make of the Hawks, man. It's not, it hasn't been good. And I don't think it's all Trae Young's fault. I think a little part of that is kind of disingenuous, but it does just look insanely bad when he comes back and they cannot win again.
So, just like with the Jaylen Brown thing, I knew Wes, was going to be hyped to talk about his guy. Let me say this very quick, because I know Derek is going to be hyped to get off his hate for Trae Young.
All right. All right.
I think it's quite clear, Gifted. They're a better team when he doesn't play. I mean, it's kind of is what it is at this point. Doesn't mean that Trae Young isn't, a quality piece for some other team, but for this Atlanta Hawk team, it's just not that guy. It's unfortunate. Jalen Johnson does really well with the ball as far as orchestrating the offense when he's not there. Also, when Trae's not on the court, they just have, just better athletes out there, better defenders that can
way better defense.
And rotate well, and they have size at the guard position when he's not out there, and that definitely helps them defensively. The leap of Nickeil Alexander-Walker as an offensive player is kind of what also kind of diminishes his value even more so, right? If he couldn't go out there and really produce anything offensively, then you still have the need for Trae Young. But the leap from Nickeil has been amazing for them. Shout out to him. He's a really good player.
He's been good.
I know people are saying that he's taking a step back defensively, but I mean, when he is now averaging 20, like, I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? I still think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is still very much so a quality defensive player. So all of that adds up to them needing to trade him, right? And so now the question is, who can you trade Trae Young to? That's becoming a question, because those high usage, low efficiency guards
who are cones on defense,
Cones. They all have a low value right now. the Trae Youngs, the John Morants, the LaMelo Balls, right? Not great value right now because maybe 2025 and 2026 basketball is passing those kind of players up to Luka Doncic.
We're gonna get to the thumbnail, please believe.
yeah.
Look, I mean, yeah, if there's a victory lap to take, I don't want it to be off of hate, but unfortunately, yeah, most of my good takes were me doubting people. And unfortunately, this is one. Look, Trae Young's put up tour dates and been a traffic cone for some time now. And, look, injury obviously is going to also hurt some of this. And I'm sure he's still like getting back to that, but he just doesn't fit the scheme now. I mean, I think Quentin Snyder knows on a night to night basis, I can walk out there with defensive minded guards that have some offensive skill and will play their roles. I've got a young budding all-star in Jalen Johnson, who is kind of a do it everything, at least offensively right now. And some interesting like pieces around that. I think he just wants to go out with that. He doesn't want to do the Trae Young show. And I think Atlanta as a whole is kind of over the Trae Young show. Unfortunately for them, because he's an expiring contract, I don't know who in their right mind would be a buyer for Trae Young services at the deadline. I know me, I wouldn't do it because this is not the kind of player I can build around. And I don't think Trae Young is expecting to take a huge pay cut. So I don't know. If I'm Atlanta, I'm shopping him. I'm trying to get something so I have preparation moving forward. But I like Atlanta's pieces, but they're missing the Trae Young void. It's just the be there, with some efficiency and some defense would be cool. But he's not giving you any of that right now. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't want to root against a player, but it's just no. I don't like this archetype. And I think that's the one thing is like aside from one player who we'll get to, this archetype as a whole is being outmoded in this NBA right now.
Yeah, it's getting to a point to where the league is getting so efficient that you can't be somebody who has the ball that much and not be efficient, and then also not help us keep the other team that we're playing inefficient as far as being a quality defensive player. Like, it's too many minuses that don't the positives don't supersede them anymore with those kind of players. See, you could get away with some of that inefficient play when the league was slightly more inefficient itself. Maybe teams weren't as direct as far as signaling you out as a defensive player and whatnot. But as the league continues to mismatch hunt at an extreme rate, the league continues to get more and more efficient. You can't have the ball that much and be an inefficient player. That cannot work unless you have like some fantastic defense behind you. I like Cade Cunningham, right? Cade isn't the most efficient player in the world, but that Detroit Pistons defense keeps you as a team inefficient. And the plus about Cade Cunningham is he's helping them keep you inefficient. He's a quality defensive player himself. So that's kind of how you can counterbalance that. But everybody else that's in that tier of player or that archetype, like a Jalen Brunson, very efficient player. So, you get away with that. Luka, because he gets to the free throw line at an unbelievable rate, you can get away with that. But inefficient and can't defend, it's not 2026 basketball anymore.
Go ahead and run your circles, Wes.
I mean, no real circles for Trae because it's not like a real vendetta. I just know who he is as a hooper. Like the Paolo shit kind of personal because he went to Duke, and it's like fuck every nigga who ever went to Duke outside of Brandon Ingram for real. But
I beat the
yeah,
Cavs.
when it comes to and Jabari Parker, respect to Jabari Parker, legend man. Chi-Town. But yeah, like for Trae, it's not personal. He's just not that good. Like it just is what it is. And I think his stature is really just caught up to him, man. I think he's too small. I think it's hard to be that effective that little if you don't have any outlier like quickness or speed or athleticism. And for him, he doesn't. And what he thought would be this outlier shooting, a lot of people were saying that even coming out of Oklahoma, like he's not gonna be Steph.
Yeah.
Like he's not. And everything has kind of just reared its ugly head. But I still think there's hope for him. I just think he needs to change the scenery. And under no circumstances can he be a team's best player, let alone, I don't even think he could be a team's best offensive player. I think he has to be second. And maybe, I don't want to say third because it's not realistic. He makes too much money to ever really be tertiary. But yeah, he just, I don't think it could work money wise, but Milwaukee, he needs a situation where he's playing with the guy who's better than him on offense, defense, and just overall is a much better player. And maybe that could do some things for him. I think it would benefit him too to play with like a really, 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 really good center who's like bruising screens a lot. Like he would benefit from playing with Jalen Duren, to be honest. Like that would be really, really good for Trey. Because I think
Put him on the Pistons.
Help him.
That's the team that would help him. Put him on the Pistons.
Nah, for real. That's actually perfect archetype, of a team build. And I think one of the things that has abandoned him is like his floater range. But I think he doesn't get there as comfortably as he used to. Same thing, we'll probably get to him later, but but he seems to be coming back. And I think Ja's may be a lot more of just injury, even though he has some play style issues, but I think it had a lot more to do with injuries. With Trey, it's like, yo, I just can't dictate things on the court the way I used to. And my shot isn't a great shot. Like I'm not a great shooter. I'm barely a good shooter. I just have the confidence to take super deep shots. Like that's literally the thing with him to me. So, but yeah, I don't think all hope is lost. But yeah, Atlanta should move on, and it's so sad. Like I hate seeing franchises like this because they should have moved on 2 years ago, and now we're not even talking 50 cents on a dollar. Like I'm not sure that they can trade him. I'm not sure if they're real suitors for Trey, and that's the scary part about this. But yeah, I definitely think they've got to go in the Jalen Johnson direction, and but they'll limp into the play-in again and have a chance to make the playoffs and be out in the first round in Atlanta Hawk fashion. So
I think to answer Lorenzo's question before we move on to more of our takes, I've given this a lot of thought, and I shouldn't be thinking this long about Trey Young, but in terms of teams best for him, I think the Kings are a really good team if he's chasing the max contract because they're stupid. They'll probably give it to him, and they have no point guard to build around right now. In terms of like basketball fit, realistically, I thought about the Pistons, but I feel like a Trey Young and Cade backcourt is turning the ball over so insane. I kind of just don't want to see that. There's a team that needs a point guard in the Western Conference that has a player that's like a top 6 or 7 player.
Keep him away from Minnesota at all costs.
Hey, man, listen. All I'm saying is bruising screens, Rudy Gobert. I'm just letting you know.
Don't wish that on him, bro.
No.
We're past top 6, 7 talks, brother. Yeah, we're
okay.
We're past.
I'm not sure we are. I'm not sure we are.
It's those metrics, man. Who cares about what a calculator says, bro? Like, who cares? Who needs math? What's the real purpose of math anyway, man? Nah, go ahead.
No, I feel like Wes. I feel like made a lot of good points as far as like that's what kills me about Trey. It's like I don't want to say I don't hope he gets a bag. I obviously hope everyone gets a bag, but like in the hope that he is forced to take a pay cut this offseason, kind of like as that final like wake up call. he needs to work on those little things to get back to being like, that really good player that I think he still can be. He did not like fine tune his in between game, which is really the ultimate thing for all point guards nowadays. All lead guards have an in between game, some kind of counter, right? Whether it's your floater, in Jalen Brunson's case, it's, I don't want to say just free throws, but like as far for Trey, it's like he can still draw contact, but at the expense of turnovers and like not having counters within there that like Shea has worked on so well, that Luke has worked on so well. Cade and so many other guards have just constantly improved there. Trey hasn't. And then as to the point of like him launching 30 footers, I didn't mind Trey launching 30 footers a few seasons ago because he would make like 2 baskets prior to that, or like they were on a run in transition, and like those are momentum bombs. And I don't mind that. But when he's doing it because it's basically the only shot he can get, that's when those are your red flags. And while I definitely agree they should have moved off him, I get why Atlanta didn't do it at the time, because they literally haven't had a player like Trey has done for that city since Dominique. And that's no disrespect to like Joe Johnson or like Josh Smith, but Trey is literally the second best player in their franchise's history, short of a Bob Pettit. So I don't know. I don't know where they go. I know me personally as a GM, I just wouldn't touch Trey with a 6-foot pole. Like, it's just, that archetype is just not what I'm in the business for.
I think that's the problem with what Wes said too, man. Because like the more and more that I realistically thought about it, the amount of money he's making, like all the GMs right now are in fear of these aprons. And it's like, if you can't be my best player, they're not trading much at like, I think the Hawks might actually have to attach assets to get off of Trae Young, especially because there's going to be a couple of marquee names coming off of the books in these next 2 years. Why would you want to cap yourself out to go get Trae Young, who probably wherever he goes is going to want a contract extension? And if he doesn't, he's going to opt into more money. So it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot to be in, honestly, but we can get off of the Hawks. Wes, how about you? What is your best or worst take so far for the 2026 season for you?
Man, that's a tough one. Tough one. That if I have to, my worst take is probably preseason where I had Jaylen Brown, man. That was funny. Like, but because I actually had him below Jimmy, so I could make this and J-Dub, and Kawhi. So I could make this about, Jimmy, J-Dub, or Kawhi or anything like that. But and I'm more serious, like I'm gonna go rookie. I'm gonna go my rookie take.
Okay.
I had a lot of hope for Ace, and it's not all gone, all hope is not lost. But Ace Bailey just being this raw, I thought he would fare better to start his career. I think he has shown the inability to do anything on ball, and that is super scary to me. The fact that so much of his offense has to come in the flow of an offense, and off of actions and off of other people's creation. And I also need to throw a shout to another Utah Jazz player, Keontae George. That's a guy who I was really low on, and my gosh, I missed on him.
He's really good.
I was super low on him. So I would say that's where I was sitting. Yeah, and I think he should be. He definitely in that conversation, if not leading the class. So yeah, I would keep it to the Jazz between Ace Bailey and Keontae George.
Shoot, since we're talking about rookies, I think it's important to hold Mr. Derek Stein to the fire, man. Because I came up here on this podcast and I said, listen, bro, I can't tell you how many games we're going to get from Paul George or Joel Embiid this year. But something tells me the Sixers are going to still be in that mix. And lordy behold, VJ Edgecombe, man. One of the most fun watches in the NBA. For me personally, he's why I turn on any Philly game right now. And the team as a whole has just been vibing. Also, we're seeing Embiid game to game get better and better at basketball. But the fact that they're in this position where Embiid and Paul George have been able to just not play at all in some games, and they're still winning games, is a testament to VJ Edgecombe and some of the other younger players. How you feeling about that, Derek?
Yeah, I
know
mean,
Eric about VJ as well, by the way.
you did not. I don't want this. You stood on this for several months, and that's still just untrue. Look, I mean, it's funny that Wes brought up Ace, who I was terrified of pre-draft. I was like, please, Sixers, don't do it.
If they got this rookie Ace, man, that would have been, I'd have been tough.
I would have been furious. And it would have fit right in with my trepidations of supporting or being excited about this team. Yeah, I feel like as far as disappointing takes, I was too low on the good things that could have happened for Philly, which in this case is VJ, like you said, and has been Maxey. I feel good about basically every other take I had as far as in regards to this team. But yeah, I mean, VJ's been so exciting and has been so much more than I could have possibly hoped for, as far as the vibes, as far as the energy, as far as like the production. I could not have predicted it. I mean, I understand Flag right now, it clearly looks like the bona fide player. He's really like turning into the prospect a lot of us expected. But VJ's giving him a race, man, for Rookie of the Year. He's giving him like actual competition in this category. He just gets better and better on a night-to-night basis. And the fact that he's showing, I think, all the viewers just so much more of than just the raw athleticism and just the vibes. Like, he's on a night-to-night basis, I swear, refining his craft in something. Like getting over a screen better on a night-to-night basis when defending like a lead guard or like a challenging
cover. He's been a really good defensive player for y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, but like he's just like the little nuances, I swear, he just picks up on a night-to-night basis. Just excites me so much because this guy has, knock on wood, such a long career ahead of him. His in-between game, he works on like so religiously. His 3-ball is just keeps coming along. I think he's getting even better finishing through contact, which is something he needs to keep working on. But yeah, he's just been beyond exciting. And I think Gift is not wrong in saying he's probably the most exciting part of watching a Sixers game right now.
Bro, I've watched the last 4 Philadelphia Sixers games. The Mavericks game and the game they just played versus the Knicks. The step back off the dribble creation threes by himself, he's able to get to comfortably and make is one thing. But the block shots, like the transition chase down blocks where he'll block the shot, run back, Paul George will pass him the ball, and then he'll get a transition dunk. Like, I think what's so fun about him is he's everything Philly needs. Just a dirty work, grit guy, doesn't have to be 2-ball dominant, can play a role, but can also play on the ball. I think that makes things so much easier where at this point, Paul George is your 4th option. And that's not bad for Paul George.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing exactly what his father does. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I still I really don't see it. People have talked about it. I just don't
see that he looks like Jimmy Butler.
Not like a little bit in the face, but people have just said, "Oh, it's Jimmy 2.0." I really don't see it. Maybe I'm thinking about like from play style. He's got some mannerisms of Jimmy for sure.
Oh, hopefully, you're talking about like his face, like he looks.
Oh, okay,
like
yeah.
Oh, okay,
I see it.
Sure.
He's got that like the devious smirk and smile like he had the other night. Yeah, it definitely feels like Jimmy. Hopefully, the personality does not transfer over because my God, I feel for Gifted in the Warriors.
I like his personality this season. He been clean.
Yeah, sure. He has some quotes this year. I'll say that.
Stuff, though. Better plus minus and stuff. Like on and off.
True.
Yeah, man. We'll get some step takes to us.
Yeah, VJ's just been a ton of fun, and his backcourt mate is also still playing at comfortably all NBA level.
Can we talk about Maxey? Can we please give Maxey the gas he deserves? Maxey Hooper, bro. Hooper, man.
Maxey's a really good player.
Yes.
I don't even think, to be honest with, like, I don't know how high Derek was on Maxey.
Not high enough.
But yeah, I don't think even some Maxey fans would say they thought he would be potentially finishing like top 6 in MVP voting the
He's
next
averaging
season or
33
something.
right now.
Whatever. Yeah, he's AI in Philly again. You know what I'm saying? They got a little guard that can go out there and get it. But tremendous 3-point shooter, one of the best in the league. Very great at getting downhill, great in transition, great off the ball, and getting a little bit better as the days go by in isolation as well. So that's the last step for Maxey for me to just completely buy in. It's his self-creation 101. And then some of those mid-range pull-ups that he gets to, because they are available. It's not
Yeah.
like he can't create the shot. He's just not that great of a mid-range pull-up shooter yet. But if we can get that to like 47, 48%, I mean, now we're talking about, you know, an unguardable player at that point.
That's you're talking about a top 10 player. I mean, that's like, to me, Maxey's knocking on the door for some of these. I think he's in the best guard in the East convos. It's not to say he has that title completely, but yeah, I'm looking back at my list and I had Maxey. Yeah, I had Maxey slide because I gave grace to too many players. I had him as high as 8th and really 7th because we were counting Halliburton at the time, so it's like
Right.
whatever. But I said Cade, Book, Brunson, Steph, Shea, and Luka would be better, and definitely for some of those, Luka and Shea for sure. And Cade is obviously the main competition in the East, as well as Brunson. But like, Maxey's been better than Booker pretty clearly, and I think Maxey has a case easily with everybody else as far as Steph, Brunson, Booker, or Steph, Brunson, and Cade. I think Maxey's played and been just as important, if not more important.
Wait, we're
than-
just talking about point guards?
Yeah, for guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, in totality, I'm sure it's a different list if you like widen it. But I think Maxey's just been everything the Sixers have needed more. Like, I think his playmaking is still underrated, which is driving me absolutely nuts. I see it on Twitter. It's like I saw today like he's a D
The
plus
D plus
passer.
passer. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just
Saw that too.
how are people allowed to get this shit off? Like that's just not true. Maxey's done far too much. And look, the constant turnover with PG and Embiid that we've talked about has also been hampering to some degrees for Maxey to get his game off this year. And even still, comfortably 31, 5, and 7 on fantastic efficiency. Like,
Yeah.
also he's not a cone on defense. Like, he still works on that end.
I think that's the biggest thing that
yeah.
I think that he doesn't get enough
He
credit
was
for
a-
not being a complete cone on that side of the ball. Like, I think some people think that he's like a Trae Young level defender. I've seen some people
Far better.
try to get that off. Way better than Trae on that side. But like, I think the biggest thing Maxey has going for him is, even though, yes, I agree, the mid-range area could be better, he's getting better at that. But the burst where he can go from nothing to 100% quickly, like, he gets to that cup efficiently, and he's actually getting more free throws this year now. So if those areas come through on top of his consistently like great 3-point shooting, I mean, dude, he had a shot in the fourth quarter the other night in the like where he took a crazy step back there. I'm like, there's no like smother contest, and he made the shot anyway. Like, he's mastered making contested shots with that speed. I think that makes him a threat. And again, if this team gets healthy, which I understand the ifs are insane with this team. I know. I understand you, Derek. I feel you. But I'm seeing Joel Embiid slow walk himself into getting better. That defense we got to talk about, though.
Yeah.
That shit been kind of up and down.
I said this to Real Talk, and then I'm let Wes jump in. Joel's defense, the problem with Joel is like not being able to stay on the floor consistently, and like he's still working back into the minutes. Joel ultimately is just the offensive weapon. Like, he's like, I don't know, just a tool you can use. But him being able to compete and be the number one true like offensive or just engine in general is just not there. I think Joel's defense has actually been better than most people have seen, but like I said, it's just he hasn't been able to like completely put it together. You're either going to get great offensive Joel or really good defensive Joel, and I think the first half when Joel was playing, we were getting defensive Joel. Now it's going back to offense. So, but go ahead, Wes.
I mean, I agree with everything except for Philly. You still got to watch out for Philly. Like, yeah, they're dead. But
I
respect to
agree.
Maxi,
I agree.
respect
That
to
is
Maxi,
crazy.
respect to VJ. And I'm saying dead for contention now. I think for the future because of that backcourt. And I still believe in Daryl. Like, I think Daryl can make things happen.
Okay.
And now he may not get the chance to. Maybe they decide to go in a different direction. But I think at some point, I think the toughest thing for Philly is just can you move off of Embiid? Maybe not. Even though I think the world no, I think the only probably real suitor is going to be potentially the Clippers. I think they're the only team desperate enough to say, "Yo, we'll take the chance on this. Let's add another top, a guy who at his peak can be arguably the best in the world, you know." And but again, I don't know if Philly will come to that conclusion that they need to move off of him. I think they may just stand pat. But everything that you all said about Maxi and VJ, spot on. I think Maxi taking the mantle for the fastest guard. I think it's pretty clear that he's the fastest guard in the league.
I agree.
And to be that quick, that fast, because he's quick, but he's fast. It's his speed. It's
Yeah.
that burst. I think he's taking that mantle from De'Aaron, who I think took it from Russ. And for him to shoot this well, I just no words, man. Like that's
It's
a really,
crazy.
really special basketball player. He does it independent of Joel, independent of anyone else's advantages that are created for him. He doesn't need the screen. He doesn't need the super, otherworldly scheme, offensive scheme. Hey, I can just get on the court and I can hoop, roll the ball out, and I can go get a bucket. I think that's really impressive, and salute to him, and salute to Edgecombe again. Hopefully at some point we get to another Eastern Conference guard who a very, very loud voice on this panel is gonna have to be held accountable for. Someone in my neck of the woods,
So on LaMelo?
Indeed, I am. Indeed.
Oh, LaMelo? Oh,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And LaMelo Ball talks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, LaMelo Ball and Kyle Knippel on the court together have a 123 offensive rating.
He had the numbers ready. Look at this thing.
Yeah, no.
That's
Because
all right, no.
I have mine. Because here's the thing.
Oh,
I wrote
wow.
this.
He had the hate rating.
I found this. I wrote down.
Okay.
It was I forget when we put this list together. It was like what, October or something. I don't even know. Real
Yeah.
Talk says at 8:24 p.m. LaMelo, Sexton, and Khan will be an elite offense together. Sky high offensive rating is what he said, and I've got it right here. It's a cool 117.
It's a 119. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I see. And there's barely
For
been
90
any
games.
minutes. It's
Yeah.
barely been any minutes.
It's 2
86
games
minutes.
total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So because
Yeah.
they've a combination of them have been hurt. So I know where to try to get that there. I actually have all three of them pulled up right now on Data Baller. And
Look
yes,
at, look at
the
these
lineup,
nerds,
the
Chad.
lineup-
Looking on
the
NBA.com.
The lineup that has the most minutes with all three of them is a lineup of LaMelo and Kyle Knippel together. That's 370 minutes. They have a 123 offensive rating. Now, the problem is they have a 126.5 defensive rating. So, they're not guarding anything.
I wonder
They
who's responsible for
They
that.
have great offense when they're and only 78 minutes. But LaMelo and Sexton on the court together without the nipple, 131 offensive rating, which would be the greatest of all time. But
I
So
know.
There's a few more I can think of. Hey, how about LaMelo averaging under 20? Right, like that. How about that? That's the interesting talking point for me.
Yeah, he's taking
Under
less
20?
shots. Yeah.
Right, less shots. How many shots is that?
Let me see.
No, I have it pulled up. Just take a guess.
He's taking. Let me see. Basketball Reference with all these pop-ups, man. He's only taking 16.7 shots a game.
He wanted
Only
you to, he
How
wanted you
about
to
that
guess that.
shots a
negative
game.
3.4?
Oh, negative
Oh,
3.4.
say it
What?
again, Derek.
For what?
Yeah, no, I
True
just under
shooting.
17
He's a
shots.
negative 3
Oh, now
point
you care
something.
about calculators and shit now. Okay.
Oh, we got the calculators,
Look,
but you got the
duality
offensive
of a
rating
man.
pulled up.
Now,
Yeah.
The duality of a man, you know?
He's actually shooting better from the field than he was last year.
He is, which is really, really sad.
Is that not an indictment on?
When you have
54 is
to,
an improvement.
when you have to
54
wipe
true shooting is an
dirt off
improvement.
Yeah, that's
of the bar.
He's shooting better from three as well. Actually, I really don't. I truth be told, guys on the shoe, I don't dislike how he's played this year. Of course, I would like for him to shoot the ball better, but I do like that he scaled down the volume because he has better offensive talent on the team. Like, he's not out there just still playing as if Conk-and-Nipple doesn't exist and shit like that. Like, yeah, the argument to me that I've been seeing, like, oh, split up LaMelo and Conk-and-Nipple because it's Constantine. I'm like, I don't agree with that. I think Conk-and-Nipple plays great with the LaMelo ball, and the data tracks that.
Sure.
Yeah,
and I think he can play better with a guard that's not ass.
He's not ass. He's still one of the best passers in the league.
Oh my goodness! Like, I mean, but your best trait is fighting for its life when other guys are getting better at that same skill set.
Passing.
I'm saying LaMelo's best trait is passing, but like the league is catching up, and LaMelo's play style is also clearly not leading to any kind of success.
I mean, they've been dealing with a lot of injuries and stuff. I don't know. It's also Charlotte. I don't base LaMelo off team success. I just never.
But I can use the eye test, even if it's not just the record.
He's had some times this year. I've watched more Charlotte than I probably should have. I had to soldier through the Magic versus Charlotte game. That was a waste of my time. Insane. But I think LaMelo has had some moments, Derek. I do think the scoring on a night-to-night basis has been inconsistent, but he has been willing to move the ball around a ton for that team. He has made it a goal of his to get Brandon Miller involved a lot more in these games, which I'm seeing the growth in his game. But it's hard to not talk about Khan more than LaMelo for me, because Khan is easily one of the most efficient rookies ever. Like, it's kind of ridiculous how efficient of a player Conk-and-Nipple is. I just don't agree that you need to move LaMelo right now in Khan's rookie season. I think you can give it maybe one more year. This team has also had its fair share of injuries. Right now, they've only had pretty much PJ Hall and Musa. Ryan Kalkbrenner is a guy I would love to hear y'all talk about. I think his defense was really, really solid. At one point, he was only behind Wemby for blocks and steals, and they were kind of rolling, and then they got hurt. So it's hard to like factor in like how much we care too much for Charlotte. I just view them as a younger team trying to figure things out. The only thing I care about to see for LaMelo is a sample size of him playing basketball, because the injuries are the biggest thing. Get better at basketball by playing reps.
It's fine to say, like, I'm not saying he needs to be moved right this second, but I'm not hanging up the phone either. Like, if someone is calling asking for LaMelo's services, congratulations. You're telling me LaMelo's like the vet that Khan needs to grow up with? Like, no. Like, I can replace
point guard he would like to play with.
I'm just not forcing the issues. What I'm saying.
He can play with other guards. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just think like LaMelo's had time to adapt, and playing less minutes has been like the adaptation, and I don't think it's resulting in the positive spin you guys seem to be finding. So I just like that's, you know, and you're right. Shout out to Khan, like also being a terrific rookie. This class by itself also has been insane.
Yeah,
it's a really good class, man.
It's absolutely. Because we didn't like the chat mentioned earlier. Derek Queen is also giving like a great race. He's been a fantastic rookie. Yeah, I mean Kalkbrenner as well, like you just said, really good defensive center. Like, it's a shame Charlotte just doesn't have any help outside of that in the front court, because I think he's played well. But yeah, it's I don't know. It like Charlotte is so close to like a proper reset and retooling, and I think LaMelo could be like the closest thing to assets you could get to like help move along. Like I think you're finally seeing some players that are gelling, and you can build an identity. I think that identity needs to be less LaMelo. So I don't know. I mean, that's just me. But yeah, again, that's a victory lap I don't even need to take, because like I was confident LaMelo was not going to be that guy.
I don't agree with that assessment whatsoever. They have an elite offense when LaMelo Ball is on the court. He works perfectly with shooters like Konka Nipple, play finishers like Brandon Miller as well. Somebody else who's still had a lot of time out.
Sure.
He's shown the willingness to again lower his shots and play more like a true point guard. I'm looking at his passing stuff now, still grading out to be one of the best passers in the league. The league has not caught up to him. There's still not 10 better passers in the association than LaMelo Ball. The data tracks that. So I don't know. Hey, I would love for him to be a better scorer. Absolutely. Been hoping and wishing for that for the past 2 years. He's just not going to be efficient. I have bought into that. Now I think the slight difference between like a him and a Trae Young is
Taller.
I do think he can be a better defender than Trae Young, just due to like his sheer size. Um, and because he's still 6'7", 6'8". He'll still play the passing lanes and stuff like that. Like it's not. I think he's better this year than he was last year defensively. I will say that. Still not a great defensive player by any means, but I do think he's improved on that as well. But yeah, if he leans into his passing and playmaking with those wings, you get him a good defensive big that can rim run and rim finish, like a Ryan Kalkbrenner or whatever. Like I think
One of the most efficient bigs in basketball. Yeah,
I think the team makes sense. I don't see why
know.
they
You were
would
pretty
go.
harsh on Trey earlier.
Yeah, but
And
I just said the difference is I think LaMelo right now is a better defender, and going forward can be a better defender than Trae
I
Young.
think
yeah,
Trae's
no,
been
that's
worse.
fine. But offensively, I think a lot of the numbers will suggest that Trey is better offensively than LaMelo, and he's taking less shots
What
than
number?
LaMelo. I'm saying his own individual stats, like what he's averaging, and then like how offenses produce with him on the court. They may be comparable. I'm just saying, like for how low you were on Trey, but you seen it was glass half empty with Trey, glass half full with LaMelo, but they're very similar players. Is all
I
I'm
do
saying.
think they're very similar players. I think Trae Young though is more accustomed to being like the best player on his team. I'm seeing right now, yeah, like his shot attempts have gone down. Trae Young's, he's only shooting the ball 13 and a half times. So if that's able to, continue, then, shouts out to him. I'm actually seeing LaMelo still
And
a
much
tad
more
bit
efficient
more.
than LaMelo because he gets to the free throw line more. So like he's worse shooting the three, but he gets to the free throw line so much and so well, and still shoots it at a really good clip. He's like
But as
plus
far
three
as
compared to
making shots,
LaMelo.
LaMelo is still better than him at that. Like pure accuracy, LaMelo's still better than him at that.
I mean, for threes, yeah. Overall, no, Trey has a better field goal percentage and
Looking
a
at their
better true
effective field
shooting.
goal percentage, Trae Young is a 48 and LaMelo's a 50.
I said field goal. I didn't say effective, but respect. I don't mind you
Same
using that stat.
effective. Yeah.
yeah.
I just think we're comparing two players that we both would say. I agree with Wes. LaMelo is still getting some pretty wild bail with this if. Like that's fine. I guess it's gonna be easy check to cash every season when it comes to ranking time, and I'm low on him, and he proves me right year in, year out. That's fine by me. But I don't know. I think LaMelo's still got good PR for undeserved reasons.
I think where I would leave it is that for me, he just hasn't played like a lot of these last 3 years, and I guess the bar is in hell for me because I just want to see him play a extended sample to evaluate. I've been watching these games, and from the eye test at least, I'm seeing LaMelo Ball get his teammates involved. The shots really fluctuate on a game per game overall basis, but the passing is definitely still there. But he's been willing to let Brandon Miller hold the ball to create offense. He's allowed Khan to also do more of the same. I just think the overall nucleus of this roster hasn't been able to be defined because year in and year out, they've always been hurt and they haven't had these pieces all there. I mean, shoot, I think 35 games into the year last year, they lost Brandon Miller for the season, right? Like,
Yeah,
I just want to get like more volume with all their pieces playing before I come to a conclusion. Trae Young has kind of gone through two different regimes at this point, right? Like the Dyson regime.
Front office. Yeah.
So like that's why I think Trae Young is more prone to say the Hawks need to move away from him. And also, I'm sorry, they've been winning games without Trae Young. Charlotte just be losing games regardless.
That means something though. Like Trae, I will say Trae's done more in his career, and he's a more available basketball player, and that matters. Like the last 4 years, like I won't count the season. The last 3 years, LaMelo has never touched 50 games.
That's a problem.
You can't say stuff like that about Trae. So I'm kind of where Derek is. I think ultimately they're very similar, and Trae I think has been better throughout the duration of his career. And their timelines aren't that drastically different. Like I think Trae's been in the league 2 more years than LaMelo.
Yeah, I mean, Wes, to your point, what we just said about Trae is like, if we were Atlanta, we would have liked to get off of him a year or two early, right? Earlier than they are currently. And here we are with LaMelo. If it's almost like if Charlotte was just looking around the league, I wonder if there's a player that fits this archetype and is underperforming compared to said other player. Maybe now is the time. Like to me,
that's why the
funny.
timeline is different though, Derek. Like my reasoning for why I don't view it the same is because they signed LaMelo Ball already. So to me, at this point, like, all right, if he's gonna be making a ton of money, I'm not saying, by the way, you don't trade him. If a trade is there, you go for it. That's fine. I'm just saying the current era in Charlotte hasn't been able to be defined because the players they've drafted have not played a large enough sample with LaMelo. So I just want to see more of that. The Hawks, though, they have a window right now to get off a Trae right now. And I feel like based on
he's expiring.
That too. So that's why their timelines are kind of different, at least in my opinion, because of that.
The timelines are different. I'm just saying the situation, like it's almost like a read the room. Like that's what I'm saying with LaMelo. And I'm not saying he needs to be traded tonight. I'm just saying in general, I would actively look because you're right. This team doesn't have a definition, but I don't think this definition can be found with LaMelo. Like to Wes's point, LaMelo has played 70 games once in his career, and that came back in 2021. So I hope he plays more. Right now, he's playing. He's already played to this point more games than he played last year. He's on pace to at least break last year's record.
I think probably maybe 58 games this year. I think would be my prediction.
I think he's played 25 to this point. So it's just I'm saying like I don't know. I'm not committed to this to anything like core wise long term. Because I mean Brandon Miller unfortunately has been banged up for most of his career thus far as well. So you don't even know what you truly have. But I think Miller's archetype is easier to move with moving forward. And then Khan obviously is terrific. So it's like, I don't even want to touch that. Everything else, it's like, nothing's safe in Charlotte. We don't have like a direction per se. So just make the most of what you got.
It's safe with Charlotte. I think Real Talk is more like, like he has potential. I wouldn't just say, fuck it. We'll take whatever we can get for him. Like if the trade makes sense, we do it. But
yeah, of course, if the trade makes sense, but again, it's like it's not like what I'm objecting is a point that like LaMelo doesn't make sense with their young players right now.
Right.
That's what I'm objecting to. I just disagree with that. He fits well with what they have going on. It's a matter of all of them being on the court and being available together, and seeing it through. But like to me, it'll be hard to just go out there and just, we're just going to get a point guard who passes and play makes better or as well as LaMelo Ball. Like it's not that.
You may not need that though.
I think you're just going different directions. What I'm saying.
I'm I'm not saying that skill set isn't valuable. What I'm saying is that the alternative may not be a point guard who passes and play makes like LaMelo. The alternative may be, hey, we want a point guard that can really, really defend and a point guard that's efficient and that's healthy enough to play basketball. And if they can get that, if they can just find someone who's a positive player on both
Yeah.
sides of the court, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying they grow on trees. My point is about the process. If they look at it and say, okay, through 6 years with LaMelo, the most success we've had is 43 wins. We lost in the play-in, and every year he seemingly is a player who can get hot for a month of basketball, perform really, really well, but is never consistent and is never available at a rate that's worth anything. It's not yielding any positive returns. And do we want to continue to wait? Because again, like we said, and Derek pinpointed so eloquently, we just talked about even a real talk earlier. You just talked about players with this play type or play style, this archetype, and low efficiency. Granted, he's come off the ball more. He's not dominating the ball to the same degree, but it still doesn't help to be a point guard who cannot score efficiently, is rarely ever healthy, isn't a good defender, even though he's better than Trae Young. He's not a good defender. It's like, what are you holding on to
but
that
you have a
is so
team full of
valuable?
play finishers, and there's the difference between an Atlanta and Charlotte right now is Atlanta had somebody who can also pass and play making, orchestrating the offense that's on their roster, Jalen Johnson right now. And then, of course, we talked about the improvements in Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Con Knipple is a off-ball scorer. Brandon Miller is an off-ball scored play finisher. There's not. He's feeling
I
a
think the
real
team
need
is just
for
too
that
far
team.
away. I think the team's too far away to move under those guidelines. Like, I don't think
About
they
the
have
Hornets?
to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the
Is I
Hornets.
think there's
Okay.
there's the fact that there's not a direction. Atlanta has a direction in mind. This offseason to them was, this is the year we find out about Trae Young moving forward. So far, they have an answer, maybe not the answer they wanted. Charlotte didn't move like that. They said, we're just going to draft the best player available in our eyes. They drafted Khan. They picked up Kalkbrenner late. And they said, okay, let's just go out there and see what we got. Mind you, they don't have like any front court depth, and just said, we'll rock out with everything else we have. So I'm not saying LaMelo's been dealt the best hand this season. What I'm saying is the assets I would get in a return for a LaMelo trade, I value more than LaMelo himself at this stage. And then from there, I can build a direction. So it's not to say LaMelo's talents don't help the current players that are on Charlotte right now. They definitely do, because he is a great passer. He definitely has an IQ as far as like a half court setting. And I mean, the shot selection's another problem, but even if we want to say that's improving, there are things that we can do to like take the team in my opinion, a better direction, and that we can move off LaMelo now while the team is still young and we can still figure out a direction. So I think that's what Wes and I are both kind of getting to the point too, is that it's just like pivot.
I would like LaMelo to get out of Charlotte so he can stop getting blamed for Charlotte being a shit show when it's Charlotte. That's the shit show.
I think where I'm at with it though, Derek, and like I went into the season saying my barometer for LaMelo Ball is gonna be, can you play 58 or maybe 55 overall games? And then once he's done that, okay, how did he play in those games? Did he positively improve the team? Like, that's what I want to see. And I will say so far this season, when he's been on the floor, Charlotte has been solid. When he's off the floor, they're not markedly better. I feel like for them, they already paid him. So they want to say, okay, let's draft Khan, who's a good off-ball guy who has height. Let's draft, I would say, Brandon Miller, good off-ball guy who has height. Let's get a big in Kalkbrenner, who's a good defensive big who can actually be very efficient at the basket. To me, this is a 2-year process where, okay, we're seeing what you can do now, LaMelo, because now the framework of the team makes more sense around you. So now if he doesn't perform this season and next season, you can still trade him, because I think his value right now isn't going to be that great. If he gets more body of healthy seasons and time, I think the value will be better. I do believe that. I don't think his value goes down from this point. It could.
Right.
But if he plays, I think it could actually trend upwards instead.
Sure, I can buy that. Well, the heliocentrism that we've talked about with Trae Young and LaMelo probably should be a good pivot to the thumbnail. I feel like we should talk about that.
Time to get to it.
Yeah, since that was probably everyone's like most debated take. I feel like overall from the list this year is number 1 point guard.
Okay, I want to say this real quick before we get into this fight. Okay, I want to be very, very clear with my verbiage and my words. Okay,
oh, trust there won't be a fight. There will not be a fight at all.
No.
But go ahead.
No. I want to be clear. Okay, I specifically said I believed Luka Doncic could reach a level higher than Shai this season based on what I've seen him do in his past. I said I believe he can reach that level. Upon watching basketball, he has not reached that level so far. I still don't think it's that crazy to say in the moment before the season. However, upon watching basketball, he's turned into Mr. PRA man. Where like he's ending these games with 34, 35 points or whatever. The shot diet is still a problem. The burst to the basket is looking very similar to last year. But he is a cleaner average than last year. I think Shai has been better. I never said at the time I thought right now Luka was better than Shai. The projection for me though, I felt like Luka could reach that point. Shai has been a top 2 player in basketball for the majority of this overall season, and he deserves that proper respect. I just want to be clear. Like that's how I viewed it. I just felt like projection wise, I didn't feel like it was a insane take to have. We're watching the games now, and Shai has been better.
Yeah, but let's not understate it. Like chat,
Okay.
fair. Gifted is not telling a lie. He was projecting. Also fair. That projection was absurd. And the only reason I say it was absurd is because I think Shai had proven, I've reached the level of play that, to me, genuinely, I really believe this, and I was saying it at the time, is on par with the best version of Luka. So even if Luka gets back to his best self, we're looking each other in the eye at the very least. Luka isn't just passing me because he's better. He's a better playmaker, but so many people, and it's not wrong to do it, but so many people put so much stock into his ability to playmake and Shai's lack thereof, even though I felt Shai had passed him up as a scorer. And we didn't really want to have that convo because, well, Luka is such a better three-point shooter, or so we thought. Luka is so much more, I won't say people felt like he was so much more aggressive as a scorer, but it was based around the three-point shooting. And the fact of the matter is, like, I don't know, man. To the people who were in the camp that I was in, saying that Shai would be better, and saying that Shai had reached the level that Luka had already reached, and feeling like, hey, that gap that the people who felt like there was one just wasn't a real thing. And maybe they still feel that way. Maybe they still feel like, I can't speak for Real Talk, Derek, nor Gifted, but all three of them had Luka ahead of, SGA in their preseason projections. Maybe all three of them feel like 24 Luka is just better than any version of Shai. I just didn't feel that way. So I'm very pleased with what we've seen. And I'll pass the mic, pass the ball, and see what my co-hosts have to say for themselves. Because
that's definitely what I thought, and I still believe, well, up until this year, but 25 in previous, that Luka 24 campaign and him as a player that year was better than anything Shai had put out up until that point, including last season. And I still am a believer of that, by the way. But this year, Shai, he's just taking it up to another level, right? gotten better as a 3-point shooter, gotten better as a passer and a playmaker.
He don't turn the
He's
ball
even
over.
more efficient. Doesn't turn the ball over. Even more efficient this year than he was prior. Like he's having an all-time great guard season right now. Like, and that's tier one. As far as Luka Doncic, I mean, he's just regressed as a player. That's kind of the conclusion I've just come to. And Luke, here's the thing about Luka, and I think him and James Harden, although the reason why I've always said like Luka was a tad bit better than even like a prime peak James Harden is because of the in between game in his scoring. I think that was very valuable because like peak James Harden, we're talking about either three or at the basket, but very little in between game. And I think Luka had kind of mastered the in between game. Luka's in between game this year actually has been quite phenomenal, to be honest with you. But it's just he can't beat people off the dribble anymore. He just can't. Not in one-on-one situations. He needs a pick to kind of get his game off now. Everything's slow. There's no more first step. Even like Lucas never was an explosive athlete, but he used to have a first step that could get you right. He could lull you to sleep with a blah blah blah, and then go and then get you. If he's not by you, at least get you on his hip, and now he can use his body and yada yada. But he can't. He really can't do that to a consistent basis anymore. And he's playing a very bad brand of basketball. Right, step back, step back, step back, step back, foul bait, foul bait, foul bait, foul bait, but foul bait. That's why I don't care about like the point totals because it's just a bad brand. And even at 24, when I look back at it, like it's not too far off from what he was doing at 24 as far as the shot location and the shot diet. But when you play a bad brand of basketball, you at least have to do that to a great clip as far as hitting your baskets. And he's not doing that. The shot that he takes the most is an inefficient shot that he doesn't make. And so when you're starting grounds there, I mean, I don't know how you build off that and you elevate as a player. At 24, he took a lot of threes. I think like 45% of his shots were threes, but he was hitting that at a 38% clip, right? So that is efficient. But now he's shooting that step back three at like a 31% clip. And now it's just a break. So I think if he continues to play like this, Shea won't be the only one passing him up in the league as far as guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to go off of why I took Luka over Shea is I had a vision for Luka this season that I thought would be enough to just pass Shea. They didn't like Shea wasn't ever regressing in my like vision of this season. It was just Luka was going to be so otherworldly offensively and be neutral to slight negative defensively that was going to be enough. And I also thought that Shea wouldn't be doing this much production on top of it. Again, no regression from Shea, just like less usage is what I was banking on. But basically it's been the same usage, but just a huge uptick in efficiency from his weaknesses. So Shea just looks even better. He feels, even if it sounds like lazy, it feels like Shea is playing flawless basketball right now. That's what's making Luka look all the more frustrating. And with Luka, as Real Talk said, the brand of basketball is just really ugly and really disappointing. And I think what's killing me is it's not even, and what's scary, I think, is because when we saw Luka come in 2018, we saw the generational prospect. We saw a potential top 10 player of all time. I think we all saw something like so bona fide Hall of Fame, so clearly gifted, ready to like just take off for the rest of the league,
especially versus the Clippers too in the playoffs. Yeah,
he has had the moments. He has had so many showings. Playoffs, regular season, all. What scares me the most, it's not even regression, it is complacency. And that is what is so terrifying because in our athletes as like fans of sports, we want our athletes to chase being the best. Whether they reach those heights or not, it's, so many things are like circumstantial. But Luka feels like what he is able to control, he is being complacent with. And I'm sorry, like, I get it's the regular season. He's played basketball so long in his life already. He understands like the rhythms to it, but it is the wrong kind of complacency for him and his team to this point in the season. And that's really what scares me. It's because it's like Luka still has like the bleeding knee thing, which I don't know enough about. Like maybe there's some, I don't want to, again, it's not Bale. Maybe there's some injuries or something I'm just not caught up with, that he's got something that is affecting him. But his shot profile,
the
right, the bleeding knees, it is like a game basis. So I don't have an explanation for that, but it's not an excuse for his decision making. And for everything I can say about Shea and the griff game that he plays, that's no excuse for Luka, because he plays the exact same game and is being rewarded for it. So it's just it's really frustrating.
Worse. Like,
yeah,
I think that's something we didn't talk about enough.
He's the worst in the league right now with that.
It is comfortably worse than Shea, and like this is a thing that I really want to like say with my whole chest, right? Because I said this so many times, I think this got overlooked. Me projecting Luka being better than Shea, I also was not saying Shea was going to regress. I just felt like the highs I saw Luka reach, I felt like he could consistently gather upon in this season. And if that put him slightly over Shea, it's slightly over. Again, I don't think I wasn't saying he would clear Shea. That's disrespect. I wasn't saying that. I just feel like he might have slightly inched him out just a tad bit. And that just has not been the case. And again, a lot of it, to Derek's point, is complacency, is like routinely taking 11 threes and hoping the law of averages saves you. And also leading the league pretty much in free throws a game, where the grift game that they talk about with Shea is so much so, Luka deserves way worse PR for that, especially this season. Like I've seen some nasty grifting from Luka Doncic the entire season. It's been nasty. And I think it's crazy to say, because he's averaging 34 or like some crazy shit. But I swear to you, there's a couple players I think I would be fine with taking over Luka this season because of Real Talk's points. The diet and how it looks on a night-to-night basis, where he's the greatest player ever in the first quarter. But then that third quarter, fourth quarter, things start to come down. It's tough.
Yeah, I want to see.
And it's more than just a couple. I don't know if I got to look at our docket, because I don't know if we're ranking today, but it's Luka's still a really fine basketball player. I do want to say that, because a lot of people who are pro Luka hear critiques of him and then feel like, oh, so you all must think he sucks now. No, absolutely not. I don't think anyone on this panel would go that far. I think everybody on this panel has them top 10 still, rightfully so. Probably top 7. I think top 5 is open for debate. I do think Anthony Edwards has passed him. I would 1,000% rather start my team with Anthony Edwards. And I think that those are things that Luka, he has to look himself in the mirror and figure that out. It's not on anyone else. Like, granted, the roster isn't great around him, but 41-year-old now, LeBron shouldn't legitimately on any night look like a better basketball player than him. And for the last week, that's been a common theme. No. I'm not doing that. Well, he's 41 years old.
You said on any night that LeBron can't be better than somebody one particular night.
I said look like a better player.
Yeah.
Having a better game and looking like a better player, two different things to me. I think LeBron, and maybe I should take it from night and say for any stretch of basketball, there should never be a week. He's 41 years old. Luka is 26 in the prime of his career. And you mean to tell me that you regress to a point where 41-year-old LeBron James can look better than you for a week of basketball. That's
Because that
unacceptable, man.
second part of your sentence is more important than the first part. The first part is 41. The second part is LeBron James.
Nah,
LeBron
I think
James
that's Bell
still
for
right
Luka.
now can conjure up top 5 basketball play for a few games. It's whatever. It's LeBron.
I agree
I'm
with
not with you, real talk.
Wes's overall
no.
point because again this is what's scaring me, and to like another point of contention. Luka, I think, is in control of majority of the decisions for on-court play for the Lakers. Front office and roster construction, sure, whatever. That's not up to him. We can agree it's not the best team that could be existing on the court as of right now. But what drives me nuts, and again, it's just so disappointing, is that I really thought like JJ Redick would be at least a more creative offensive mind, and Luka would be at least even if it wasn't like a 1-for-1, I'm going to do everything JJ says, but more like be more creative offensively, use me in different ways, and not just play Luka ball like to the utmost T. Like Jason Kidd's Luka ball, I was like, okay, Kidd is more like defensively focused. He wants to just slant this and let Luka be Luka. That's fine. Part of the reason I thought Luka could, just get barely past Shea is because I thought he'd be more creative offensively. Use him more in the post. It's like, okay, fine. If you're going to stay like a big body and like that burst is gone, do a little vintage Magic Johnson, like back your opponent down the post and play make from there. Get more creative that way. And I thought JJ would try to really stress upon that, using different creative offenses for when LeBron's not there or when LeBron is. But to that point, LeBron has had stretches that look better than Luka's play at times. And I'm sorry, no 41-year-old human should be able to do it. I don't care if it's LeBron. Like, that it's just very disappointing for a player of Luka's caliber.
Amen.
It's Luka's caliber. That's the problem.
That's totally ignoring who LeBron James is as far as LeBron
no,
James.
I'm acknowledging who Luka is.
What stretch as far as like what do y'all mean by stretch? There has yet to be back-to-back games where LeBron was better than Luka. So what stretch are y'all talking about?
I'd say the past week. I think granted, Luka turned his performance. Luka turned his performance against, I think it was Detroit around. Maybe it was a different team. No, Detroit. It wasn't Detroit. It was. He started off slow, but then finished 8 for 18, took 20-some free throws, and had a decent game at the end. But I think LeBron was comfortably a better basketball player in that game. And then the 2 games before that, I felt LeBron also had been a better player. So if it's three games, I don't know the games off the top of my head. I can look them up. I know Detroit was one of the games, because I'm pretty sure who their last opponent. I'm looking it up now. Let me check. But real talk, you're the Lakers fan.
There are plenty of reasons to be frustrated and disappointed with Luka Doncic this year, and I have definitely aired them out. But one of them is not because LeBron James played better than him in a basketball game. Like that to me now, it's just going a tad too far. I don't care that, bro, it's LeBron, bro. Y'all keep saying it's for a 41-year-old as if we've seen anybody in the history of the league like LeBron James. We haven't.
That's fine. I just don't think that's.
So I'm thinking
Wes and I are saying. Yeah.
I think
what? Sorry, Wes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Landry played.
No, the 3-game stretch. It was the Grizzlies. It was the Kings, and it was the Pistons. But go ahead.
Like
he wasn't better against the Kings. I know he was more accurate because of his shots and stuff, but I don't think he was a better player against the Kings.
Again, to me, it's the standard that we should be holding Luka to, not even so much as LeBron. That's fine to say LeBron hasn't. Like, I think there's been individual games LeBron's been better than Luka, but fine. If we don't want to say stretch, fine. Like, Luka overall is like, that's the problem with Luka. Again, for me, it's the complacency. He is still an extremely productive player, but that's because his system and who he is allowing him to be, which is why he's still in conversations. But I want to get to the point. And again, like, all the more reason that I'm just distraught with how this has gone for him. You said like you rather have Anthony Edwards over Luka Doncic. No slight against Ant because he's a terrific player, a ton of fun to watch. But the fact that we are taking the generational prospect of Luka Doncic, and Ant has essentially caught him, I think is all the more terrifying because there are now a few other players that we are considering are catching up to Luka or almost passing him. And this is supposed to be in the midst of Luka's prime. Like he's supposed to be peaking as most basketball players do at this age. And I just I don't know. It's just really scary as a basketball fan that like this could just, we might have already seen the best of Luka.
I don't like I don't want to be nasty, but like look, man, y'all know me. I do my math differently. If we're saying Anthony Edwards is similar caliber to Luka, how far off is Jaylen Brown to Ant this season?
But and that's the other thing. Earlier we talked about JV being ahead of him in the MVP race, and there are other things outside of just raw individual performance. Obviously, the fact that the Celtics weren't expecting to be this good, and Jaylen Brown isn't the only reason. They're sitting at 22-12, if I'm not mistaken, and only a half a game back of the second seed in the East. But he's a big reason that that's going on, right? And his level of play mirrors that. And I think that, to your point, Gifted, when guys, like, in all due respect, because I love Jaylen Brown at no point, but prior to seeing it happen this year, should anyone have ever thought that that could be a real conversation?
100%.
To Derek's point, like that, there's no way that Luka should have taken such a big step back to where players like, and again, I'm sorry, real talk, LeBron, great. I love the name. He's 41-year-old LeBron. Even what we've seen on the court should not be able to outplay Luka. And he has, because Luka has gotten worse as a basketball player. Considerably, some might say. And I just think that's crazy.
Sample size, and you singling out like 5 nights where LeBron may play better than Luka is not. I don't even see.
I think both of us would agree that it wouldn't just be 5 nights, and that's the problem, brother.
But I don't agree with that. I don't think that LeBron's going to be better than Luka. We'll be able to count on our hands all the times LeBron James is going to be better than Luka Doncic on the basketball court together this year.
I think only one hand I could probably do that on if I had to like ballpark the game.
So like that's what I'm saying.
By the end
or less games.
By the end of the season, or are we saying to this point?
I'm saying right now. I'm saying
disagree.
Okay.
Here's my problem. If I can do, even if I say 10 games by the end of the season, I can get to that point. That is still for me, emphasis for me, a disappointment on Luka Doncic. That the fact that he could even get 10 games, LeBron could be on par with Luka, is too much for me. That is too much for me because that is the standard. I don't care how good LeBron is at defying the odds as a human being and an athlete.
I mean, what's LeBron's best game so far this season? Do y'all know?
I don't know. He had like a 30-piece, like 30, 10, and 8 or something like that. Like what? Like
all
3 nights ago?
Older
3 games ago?
Hall of Fame superstar players can have stretches where they're playing with the best basketball, but we've already seen it this year with Steph Curry. A stretch where he's absolutely phenomenal and he's outplaying damn near everybody in the league and even playing offensively on par with Shea and Nikola Jokic. And they're the best 2 players in the world.
I would argue that LeBron, for sure, at no point in this season will he ever look like he's on par with Jokic nor Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I would say, yes, for a game or 2. At no point. We're not just talking counting sets. This is why I'm saying stretches.
He just means feel. He just means overall feel. So like, okay, my problem with this is like, I generally feel, and again, y'all might disagree, but I generally feel like if we're saying a single game sample, I could see random players looking like the best player on the floor. Shit, I saw Aaron Gordon look like the best player on the floor at times. And I know for a fact Jokic is better than him, like just all around, right? But which
is exactly why I framed it the way I did. But yeah, to that point, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. I'll say this though.
I tried
I
to
think we
correct
all
it.
agree that right now, regardless though, Luka is not playing up to standard. Even if you feel like Luka isn't really in these talks that he should be in anymore, I just feel like Luka's standard should be higher than what he's played to right now. And I know, like, it's crazy because again, we're criticizing a player who's averaging 33, but again, when you like look into the box score and you're watching the games, like shit, like this is why I don't watch games with box score anymore. I watch the game first, then after the game, I see what happened box score wise in the game because it tells you a lot when you're just watching it. And I think that's how I've seen Luka. Like, dude, there was a game, real talk, I think versus the Jazz or something, where it was some of the most disgusting basketball that I saw. And I looked at the box score, and Luka still had 30 after that game ended.
Yeah, it's some nasty stuff going from at times with Luka Doncic. It's really um the step back three. I think
Yeah.
I'm perplexed in with that stat because somebody did tell me, and it is true that the Lakers are like a bottom tier volume 3-point shooting team as far as just getting threes up to begin with. So do you really want Luka just not taking threes and now we take even less threes as a team in 2026? I don't know if that's the answer. He just needs to start making them.
Yeah.
Like, I think as for me, and to be fair to Luka last year was like a 37% 3-point shooter. The year prior, that was 24-25. The year prior, he was a 38% 3-point shooter. So it had been showing that he shouldn't be this bad of a 3-point shooter right now. And I do think once he does hit 36, 37, 38% of those step backs, he is back comfortably.
It's very
five.
different. It's very different when he's doing stuff like that. Yeah.
Top five. Yeah, but right now he's not making that shot. And so it just reveals all the other flaws in his game.
I mean, no disrespect, but like, oh yeah. I'll make the same argument right now for Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is making these shots, right? Like,
so now we're like, oh my God, look at Jaylen Brown. Exactly.
I kind of feel like,
the other thing though with Luka that he's getting to the basket so sparingly, bro. That's the other point.
Yeah.
Like even last year with Fat Luka, right? 15% of his shots were at the rim. This year it's 11. This is a career low.
Damn, 11%.
Only 11% of his shots are at the basket. So when people pull that, he's shooting 90% at the rim, it's like, yeah, but because he barely shoots there. That's not really the stat that you think it is. But everywhere else, as far as like his accuracy, though, I will say this: his accuracy is very good from everywhere on the court except three. He makes shots everywhere else on the court routinely.
But he takes the highest volume of threes. So
52, yeah, exactly.
Right.
52% short mid, 45% long mid, 31.7% from three, and that's the shot he shoots the most.
Man,
so
that's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so here's something I'm thinking about right now.
Okay.
Luka's situation. And I hear real talk as far as the stats. I think it's interesting because again, it's the duality of Luka Ball is getting Lakers in this situation, but it's not like the best for Luka. Also, I think long term, Luka has to change for the Lakers to be in their best situation, right? But any other, and I agree with Wes's point, like regardless of Luka's disappointment, quotes, he's still a top 10 player. Is there any top 10 player right this second, again, like let's pretend injuries are off, that has a less advantageous situation than Luka Doncic does right now?
Less advantageous,
like roster construction, injuries, front office. Is there any situation for a top 10 player that is worse than Luka's right now?
No.
That's what I'm starting to think about.
I think Steph is in that conversation.
Okay. I will say I didn't think Steph was a top 10 player. I'll be honest. That's how I was thinking about it. But
Whoa.
That's
You
fair.
don't think Steph has been top 10 this year?
Huh?
I think he's been around. But I
No.
think I don't know. I think he
There
was
are definitely guys
close.
that have an argument. It's like
Right.
when Steph Curry is hooping, Steph Curry fans act like nobody else in the league is hooping because he's
No,
hooping.
that's not. This man
well,
Derek said he didn't think
Right.
Steph was top 10. That is.
I wasn't considering him because I was looking at like an MVP ladder.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and that's who like my basis was. Like for instance, Jokic. Again, injuries have sucked for Denver, including Jokic himself right this instance. But prior, I would say Denver has a better situation than LA.
I
Shea,
agree.
duh. Brunson, the Knicks. You could say worst team, but I think better situation.
A better situation. Yeah.
Right. Wemby. Like
He's in a fantastic
Way
situation.
better roster.
right.
Yeah,
Long term
fantastic
especially,
form.
but like in the immediate form, like probably better situation. Ant-Man. I think Minnesota is right now in a better situation than the Lakers.
Jaylen Brown?
Mhm.
Are we saying Jaylen
JB,
Brown
I think is another one. The one
better
that chat
situation?
mentioned, by the way, is Giannis, who Giannis is probably the actual one.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely,
Giannis.
I forgot. I forgot all about Giannis.
So,
Yeah.
Giannis is the pick.
Chat was right about that.
That's a fact.
And then Steph, I think also would be there. I think Steph has it worse than Luka right this second. But I think that's why I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, how can the Lakers fix some of this to ultimately help fix like Luka? Because I just think Luka has too much responsibility, and I don't like it for him, and I don't like it for the Lakers, and I think like they could be better than this. So
I think they need a full roster overhaul, though.
That's
hate to say it, but it looks like I was right about Aiden. I'm not gonna lie though. Initially, Aiden was hooping, so like I had to respect it. But as of late, I mean, he's not rebounding the ball. He's not really taking that many shots as of late. He doesn't get at all to the free throw line. Like there's just a lot of shit.
He's a guy in the league. He's just the softest nigga in the league, and
I might be there
that's
with
the thing about him. He's a very skilled player. I will give him that. The stuff that he does well, the stuff that he grades out well, he does do well. I'm not gonna lie. That little short mid-range pick and pop shoot shot is money. Them little floaters and little hooks around the basket, money. He can play finish baskets for sure. Everything else,
I'm sorry, real talk, but this nigga played 4 games with 3 rebounds total.
See, that's what I'm saying. He's just soft. He's soft, bro. The Lakers just we have to regroup. This year is already gone. I do agree with Derek. Like this isn't the optimal team around Luka Doncic. I think if you're banking on Luka's going to change this part of his game, like I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I just think Luka's going to play how Luka's going to play, and now you just have to construct a team that does best around Luka playing like that, which Dallas did. Right? You have a secondary player. I think Luka can play with one other ball handler. One. And
that's what scares me.
That guy has to be able to shoot. Kyrie Irving is a great example of that.
Austin Reeves.
And then everybody else is Austin Reeves. Yeah. Everybody else are defensive-oriented players who hopefully can hit a corner 3 if they're a wing, and hopefully can play finish at the basket if they're a 5.
I hate Jared Vanderbilt, bro. That shit.
Dude, Vando.
Yeah.
I saw
Vando.
statistically Vando is a top 10 defender. Like overall DPM and a few other metrics, but was also the only top 10 defender that was like ultimately a negative as far as like what they provide. So everyone else on that list was at least a positive or a slight positive. Vanda was the only one who is so good defensively, but it's just too bad offensively to actually play.
Now he's been hitting his 1-3 lately. So I mean, shouts out to him for doing that. He's shooting like 40-some% from 3 on the year, which
he's
is
taking 9 attempts, maybe.
Oh god, brother.
1 attempt a game, maybe.
What is Vando's attempts? I gotta
Let me see.
It's gotta be like 0.9 or some shit.
Yeah, it's not serious, so you know.
I was gonna say, where are my totals?
That shit got to be Lil West.
Totals this year. No way. He's taken
What?
36 threes.
36?
Yeah, 23
36.
games.
15
So-
of 36.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, how many threes per game is that?
That's
That comes out to
1.6.
1.5.
1.6. Yeah, I'm still.
Hey,
I mean,
still not moving.
That's better than I thought.
Hey,
That's honestly
man.
better than I thought.
That boy
Yeah.
shooting that thing, man.
Boy, that's the same shit ever, man. I don't like to call shit fake, but it's like, man, when he on the floor, I'm like, I know this offensive rating got to be in the mud.
It always
I don't
is. It always
Yeah.
is. I want to say before we pivot, because I feel there's one
Yeah,
definitely
I'm
one
not even
team.
gonna disrespect myself by engaging in talks about that guy.
I respect it.
Yeah, there's one
That's like
team
it
and I get subsequently one player, maybe multiple. I want to pivot to, but I do want to
Yeah.
give Wes his flowers. He stood with his guy. It clearly is panning out for him, especially this year. So again, respect to Shea because Shea is already putting himself in some elite company, and that's coming off of the year he had last year. So I think it's incredible. So I don't want to pretend like we didn't acknowledge it, but my goodness, the team I want to. No, go ahead, Wes. Go ahead.
Oh, real quick before you pivot, as a panel, can we admit, or I won't even admit, if he continues to, if he continues this level of play, will you all be willing to say he peaked higher than Luka?
Yeah,
Shea?
Like any
Shea?
version of Luka? Yes.
I have
Oh,
to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's all
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted. Great. We're good.
Yeah.
Yay. We're good.
Yes.
We're-
I would say that. I would say that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
But-
because he already
but-
made it close.
But I will say this, and Wes won't like this. You still got to see me for an individual playoff series performance, though, because I done see Luka in some of these 7 games. Now, granted, I know you can sack the teams. It's the Clippers; they're not serious, gifted. I hear all that, but this man shot 43% on 11 threes a game in 7 games. That shit is crazy, bro. I'm sorry. Overall, though, yes, I would say Shea has
doesn't
peaked.
have-
Strong.
He can have that shit. We got jewelry. We got jewelry.
I'm not
Yeah,
mad at you,
I mean,
Wes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not mad at you.
We have a trophy room.
Absolutely, you got to play the
Yeah.
Pacers.
He doesn't
with no
have that.
Halliburton. Yeah. But Shea doesn't have the moments in the playoffs. Even just
Right. Not yet.
despite the like the numbers and stuff, like he doesn't have a game 7 against Phoenix where he just goes out there and beats the
He
team in the
do
first
not have
half.
that. That's a
He
fact.
doesn't have
That's a fact.
what was that game 5 in Minnesota where he just comes out, he hitting shit from the parking lot and the game's over in 10 minutes. Like, Luka has some special playoff moments, bro.
And guess what? Luka doesn't have an MVP. He
Yeah,
doesn't have a
no,
finals
yeah,
MVP.
yeah, no,
He doesn't have a
facts,
finals trophy. He doesn't have a ring. Yeah.
These is facts too. These is
He
facts
doesn't play
too.
the greatest defense of all time. So
If we gonna pop it, let's pop it.
Hey, listen. I will say this though, right? To Shea's credit, game 2 versus Denver should be one of them games we talk about with Shea, but they blew their ass out in basically the end of the first quarter. So like no one really talks about that game as much, but Shea was like dominant in that game too, right? Like I get it. I think people want to see OKC push to the brink and Shea have to deliver. Because I'll say this, bro. It's cool to slander J-Dub now, but I swear to you, versus Indiana on my soul in game 5, when no one had nothing in that first 3 quarters but J-Dub, and then Shea turned up in the 4th quarter, like people want to see that moment from Shea where it's like no one got nothing else, but I'm still gonna will us to a win for all 4 quarters.
Yeah, Shea gets carried in the playoffs routinely. It's
I
fine.
wouldn't say-
but
I wouldn't
it's
say
a
all that.
team sport.
I
No,
wouldn't
it
say all that.
definitely is that. In that Memphis series, he wasn't great. And, you know, and against Minnesota, Chet and J-Dub were unbelievable. You know. But, shout out to Shea, though. He's a really good player on the all-time great team.
Yeah. I think Derek said he has something he wanted to pivot to.
Yeah, I just didn't want to overlook this team that has defied many an expectation, and this player has put himself in the league conversation as well. But it's Gifted's regional team, the Detroit Pistons. I wanted to at least give a little spotlight to.
I like that.
Best team in the East, possibly could be, depending on how OKC plays this out, like they could end up with the best record in the whole league.
I'm sorry, Derek, but like I gotta bid your lack because it's like it's so funny how not even 3 years removed, I was arguing with people that Cade was a better player than Fred VanVleet. That Cade, like, yes, I understand Santi Aldama might have a higher VORP than Cade, but I just think Cade's a better player. And we're now at a point where Cade actually might be getting a little overrated to me individually, but he's been great.
Yeah, I think he's put himself in some elite conversation, and deservingly so. I get it. He's definitely still a flawed player in the grand scheme of things, but he is elite. Firmly in, has his own, albeit clearly dark horse, MVP case. But really just the Pistons, man, have been so exciting. I haven't been able to catch a lot of their games this season, but when I do, it's always entertaining because I feel like some players somewhere deep on the bench like goes crazy. You mentioned Jenkins earlier, alluded to, like Ivy's just coming back. I think everyone's had a chance to shine. But also I saw statistically speaking, the greatest defender of all time since tracking data,
Ausar Thompson,
is on your club. Yeah.
Oh, we won the award. No, wait. Okay, no. Let's get to another. Yeah. Oh my God. You know, Dick, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you get all your shit off. I'm gonna wait because I got some things to say. You can go ahead.
Look, I just wanted to shout out to Stewie, by the way. Also define the odds for being undersized center, but like beastly defensively, and he's no longer getting ejected every other game. Sadly, Tobias Harris is still a competent role player for y'all and doesn't do too much.
He a vet. It's cool.
But
shout out anger management, Stewart. Right. Anger management.
Facts. Whatever he's doing off the court's working.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Also, Jalen Duren also has been terrific. Finally having his breakout season. But yeah, I forget who posted it, but Ausar is the first player ever to grade with an A+ in every major category defensively, which is crazy because of the whole conversation with his brother last year. But he literally is like the lab created defensive player you want. Like he really is Tony Allen that might do more. And that's really saying something. I think that's just really cool to have that kind of player on a good team.
Yeah,
I don't know if Gifford wants to have like this Ausar talk, I guess is what he keeps hinting at. But like Ausar is a better defensive player. I still think Amen's a better player than Ausar Thompson.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I never cared about that conversation. My thing is that people were gassing Amen up so goddamn much. They were saying he was better defensively than Ausar, and that just was never the case to me. I also remember the debate we had about Deni Avdija versus Amen, and I just felt like Danny was a better player, and but I'm sorry, these are sidebars. Let's get to Detroit, man.
Damn it, that should have been my biggest hit. That should have been my biggest
Wes, I'm surprised you ain't say nothing. Wes, I'm surprised you ain't say nothing about that because I was on that train crazy.
I was expecting a major leap from Amen Thompson this year. We haven't gotten that at all.
That's not. I don't know if that's true. I think you've gotten a leap, maybe not a major one, but I think
he's
watching the game. Yeah, I think it's a tale of two seasons for him thus far. That's fair. Start the season, like the first half of the games that have been played, I really don't think he definitely hadn't improved, and there was an argument that he had regressed.
Yeah,
sure.
Over the last 15, I think
he's been way better over the last 15.
Improvement. Yeah. Right. Way better for the last 15, but yeah, man, it didn't start off too pretty, but
that's true.
Who cares about that guy? We're talking about his brother. Go ahead, get this.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, man. As someone that goes to these games, seeing the crowd improve, because again, I was going to games, y'all, when this team was losing like 18 games straight. The team was dog shit, and B was giving them 50 points, and I was falling asleep mid-game because it was not even close. To see like the crowd show out more for Detroit, like the city is really booming right now because of the Pistons. But more importantly, for them to have so many other guys, like if you watch the Pistons play the Lakers, it was a prime example. Marcus Sasser was giving them fits. Ron Holland was all up into Luka Doncic, right? Like the players that they have been drafting, they very much have focused on having a defensive-minded approach first and foremost. But the fact that they could have a player off a two-way contract like Dennis Jenkins come in and be a revelation for their season is huge. The only problem I'm having is the guy that we thought would be somewhere in this mix, Jaden Ivey, just has not had it yet. And he's been hurt a lot of this season. I really want to give him grace. I do. But there's a reason why he still is not extended. And like what's going to happen with his contract in the future, I don't know. But Jaden Ivey hasn't been anywhere near where we thought. And they're still the number one team in the league. If I told y'all what he would be averaging and you didn't know any other information, you would tell me Detroit's probably 8 seed, 67 seed. You wouldn't tell me they'd be the number one seed. That's how impressive this team as a whole has been.
Well, I think his role, he's had to adapt to the team. Like when he came back, right? He's coming back to a team that's already very successful. So you don't want to just input yourself in that and disrupt anything and stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, I want to give Jaden Ivey some time, but Detroit is a fun team to watch. Referencing that Los Angeles Lakers game where, the bench just comes in. They play tremendous defense. I like that Green guy as well. He's a tenacious defender. Very athletic on the perimeter.
Devontae Green used to be a Boston Celtic.
True.
That guy. Very good regular season team. However, I have the Knicks comfortably as the best team in the East right now. I just don't think there's another team come playoff time that has a combination of hitting an elite offensive ceiling and still being a very good to really good playoff defense like the Knicks can with Mitch Robinson on the floor. So, I think also that Cade being basically the lone shot creator for that team, they need to get some other shot creation and scoring on that team if they want to seriously compete in any high leverage basketball on a consistent basis.
I mean, that's why we said in the offseason. Oh, no problem. Oh, go ahead.
I have something I want to pose. Off season, I don't know if they'll have the money, but if they can free it up, Norm. Are we comfortable making it? Because I don't think that they have the assets in terms of the young player, to move to get a major, just a major piece beside Cade. So I think they have to go that next tier, or not even next tier, but a huge step down, but bargain players that, hey, we could get a whole lot out of him. And Norm is a player who I'm just saying, hey, how do y'all feel about Norm?
Yeah.
Norm in Detroit, creator, could come off the bench, could start, wouldn't really matter, but he would do so much for them, and he could close every game. And the shot making, the ability to get to the free throw line, not much of a passer, but you don't really need that. What they're missing is a guy who could really go get a bucket, and being able to depend on that. And they have to do some work to prime away from Miami. But I just think there's a number that Miami won't be willing to go to for him because they have Hero. And it's like, we're not going to pay both of y'all, money that you probably shouldn't be getting. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you all.
I don't hate the Norm selection.
I think Norm is still a tad too much off. I think they do need a real on-ball option other than Cade. The player I'm thinking of for them, actually, unfortunately, because we haven't necessarily given him a contract yet. Like Austin Reeves in Detroit would be very intriguing to me. I like Austin, somebody that's real creation besides Cade offensively, right? And you have a real creator when Cade's on the bench that can still facilitate and get his own shot. One of the better pick and roll players in the league, just like Cade is. So I think that I would like to see Austin next to Cade in Detroit.
I'm a real talk, by the way. Watching their games back from this offseason when they played against the Knicks in the first round, Cade actually wasn't all that good, but a lot of it is because on ball he had a lot of responsibilities, and it was his first overall playoff series. He was a tad bit inconsistent, but the major issue in that series, and again, the games were close as hell. It just came down to like someone else being a decision maker, not named Cade, where Cade would turn the ball over, and that would cost him games at times, right? Just having another guy. And again, that's why we all said Jaden Ivey had to be their X factor coming into the season. Like, ideally, skill-wise, you would think Ivey could maybe be that guy in a smaller dose. But now I'm really questioning how ideal that is for this season now. I don't know. Like, I could do Austin Reeves because, again, as a pick and roll creator, especially this season, Austin Reeves has been phenomenal. I think that would be a really good pickup. I even think in the future, and again, I know Derek is not going to love this either, but shit, if they could maybe buy low on LaMelo, you put him on a good defensive team. They love to run in transition. That's his game. Like, I think that could even fit there.
LaMelo in Detroit, you might be on to something with that one.
Cade and LaMelo with the size, like that's tall defense. I know y'all not fucking, but
6'7", 6'6" guards out there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm less down with that. I think Real Talk was definitely onto something with Reeves.
Yeah.
Because I hear that archetype, and I mean, what we talked about earlier, right, is Luka and Kyrie with a defensive slanted roster, Cade and Reeves, whoever, another guard in this situation with a defensive slanted roster. That's a pretty good recipe for winning games. May not win you the whole thing, but it's a really damn good start, and I think Detroit's on that start. I think to the point, like, Ivey's in a really tough spot because I think Ivey can still turn into a good player. It's way too early to say one way or the other. If the injuries keep creeping up, obviously that's going to hurt. But he's in a tough spot because Bickerstaff is the type of coach that wants his guys for his system, wants that like defensive grit. But he's also like, if you screw up, you're going to get pulled. Like, we got guys that are ready. Yeah. Like Jenkins got that opportunity, and then he's had to fight tooth and nail to like keep that, right? Marcus Sasser, who is not nearly the talented player compared to like an Ivey, but he works hard and he gets some moments. So I think it's a tight ship that they're running, so it's tough. West with like the Norm Powell or even like that archetype player is definitely something that would fit. Like, that's why they signed and got a Duncan Robinson to just help like that 3-point alleviation, like give Cade some space and good things will happen. But yeah, I don't know long term who that is, whether it's Reeves, whether it's Ivey, whether it's somebody else. The Pistons have some young players they can trade to make something like that happen. But I don't know, they're just in a really good spot, like a really creative team. And I think to that point that Real Talk brought up with the Knicks, I think it's definitely fair to say that they're the best team in the East right now. I think if we got to run that series back again, it's a different
I'd love to see that again.
Yeah, I think this is a much improved, mature Pistons team from last year. Like Jalen Brunson dropped Thompson last year. I think like he had that welcome to the NBA moment. I think he's definitely gotten better. Cade certainly improved. And I think that's just a more coherent team. So I think that even though I'd be hard-pressed not to pick the Knicks in the series right this second, that to me is an easy 7-game series because I think as hard as Mitch is working, Jalen Duren is now working way harder and making that a tough time for Cat and Mitch.
I want to highlight real quick a name that I didn't even think about. How would y'all feel about the Pistons making a trade for Kyrie?
I was just about to bring that up because
I don't hate that at all. That's nice.
Dallas is about to be a fire sale if they're releasing or trading Anthony Davis, right? So shout out to Nico. But
I've seen conflicting reports about that. I've read reports that they want to move AD, but they want to keep Kyrie.
I've heard that.
That also doesn't make that much sense to me, though.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, Real Talk.
Like, because if you're trading AD, that means you're kind of done with the idea of we're trying to win right now, right? So if that's the case, then trade Kyrie as well, the other older player on the team that can maybe give you some draft capital, because plenty of contending teams that want to win will be throwing their hat in the ring for Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, and will be willing to give up if they feel like they're a Kyrie or AD away, give up a good amount of capital to get those two players. So, to me, it makes no sense to want to get rid of one and keep the other. Like to me, you either
I feel you on
hold
that.
on to both and see what it looks like, for whatever
Mhm.
reason, see what it looks like next year with the whole squad healthy, and then you have an even year better Cooper Flag. I think Cooper Flag, even for many, as far as we thought he was good, but he may be even ahead of schedule. Right, Anthony Edwards is going absolutely absurd right now. By the way, I'm looking at it, but
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Up on the side.
he's otherworldly, bro. I can't.
yeah.
He's otherworldly.
But yeah, so you hold on to them, try to stay healthy, and bring it
Go ahead,
back.
Nugget.
Or if you trade AD, you trade Kyrie, then you start building around Cooper Flag. That's the two options. But
Yeah.
trading one and not the other makes absolutely no sense in my opinion.
So I kind of disagree. I get your point in terms of like money wise and timeline wise, but I think that Cooper Flag is in a spot where he's actually been going to Kyrie as a veteran player, and I know that like that might not mean shit, but sometimes I feel like the small tidbits of
Oh
like maybe
my
having
God.
one more season with that. I know. Oh wait, is it the end? Shit, is it the end?
And,
Yeah, it's the ant stuff.
It's
Oh,
ant,
okay.
bruh.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
it's the
Quick
ant
game
off
over
to the
quick.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at wanting to move off of Kyrie too, Russell. I just feel like one more season of him being like the vet for that team could be good for Cooper Flag. And like I really focus on like individual moments in spots where sure, we're not a great team, but just having his presence be there for Coop in his early years isn't a bad thing necessarily. But if you're Detroit though, I think Kyrie is the perfect example of like go get a bucket, can play make. Like, granted, we don't know how he'll look after this injury. He is getting older, but putting Kyrie on a very good defensive team makes Kyrie's life way easier. I actually don't hate that.
You know, a player who I think, again, I don't know that they'll be able to make it happen. I like Donovan Mitchell.
D
I
Mitch,
just,
okay.
yeah, but it may not be able to happen, and D Mitch may
Yeah,
not want that for himself.
yeah. I don't
So
even think that's realistic. Honestly, the D Mitch pool. But shout out to D Mitch though, another player that's we have some. Hey, it's players in the
It's been
league
some
right
hoopers
now
this year, bro.
getting buckets at an
Yeah.
elite level, and Donovan Mitchell is another one of them. So shout out to D Mitch.
Facts.
He has been putting the ball in the basket at an elite clip.
I mean, Garland
I don't
probably
think-
is more realistic, but I don't know if I'm still on the Garland train anymore.
Y'all feel so
I think-
quick, D-Lo, or
Oh,
This man, I think
That's the
Garland's on the
disrespectful.
move. I don't think he's to Detroit. It's funny, man. I swear we're just building the Mavs again. With KB and Luca.
Legitimately, yeah.
But yeah, I like also with the guard play to like D Mitch, who straight up was an afterthought for most of this pod. Like this is the best guard play in NBA history. Like no holds bar. Like just
I
so
got to
clearly.
think about it, Derek. Like I think that all NBA voters should be banned if they're still trying to vote off of the last thing where it's not positionless. No, if the NBA chose to make it positionless, don't do this. Well, I'm
Bill
gonna still do
Simmons.
2 guard. Yeah, that shit made me so
Bill
mad because it's
Simmons.
like
They're doing it.
gang.
you watch that pod?
Yeah, bro. Like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
and like, bro, if they change the rule to make it positionless, vote accordingly. Because
I know.
now at that
Derek,
point
you
you're going
think this
against
is-
the thing.
Derek, you think this is better than like 16 through 18, where we're having Steph, Harden, Russ, Dame,
Oh shit. Oh.
Kyrie? Do you think this is better guard play than that?
I think it's definitely deeper. Because I mean, when we were going through our list. Now I
Okay,
pulled
that's
them. I pulled them back up. Like
That's
as
fair
far
to
as
say.
point guards are concerned, there is pretty much without argument, at least bare minimum, an all-star caliber guard on half the teams in the league. It's probably closer to 20 to 24 or 22 teams in the league have an all-star caliber guard. Like in any given NBA season. That's the kind of play.
compelling argument. Compelling
Like,
argument.
That's a compelling argument right there.
Now I'm thinking like back then, because somebody in the chat just said John Wall is also during that
Sure.
16 to 18 time. That's another one. And we're just talking about all-star
But I mean,
caliber.
John Wall would be like,
Hooper.
he wouldn't be
Absolute
top
Hooper.
10 in terms of, he might not be top 10 point guards.
Like I'm gonna just throw out some lists, right? So like the peak
That
of
might
the
be a
secret.
stretch,
era?
Let's say the peak.
No, I'm saying right now, if we
right now.
here,
Okay.
but that also may be a stretch. That may be a stretch.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
so
deep,
let's
he's somewhere around like 7, up to
Okay.
maybe 8.
let's go through it because I mean to
Sure.
find a list of 2016 players just to make sure I'm not forgetting. But off the top, right? So Russ and Steph are probably your 1 and 2 as like MVPs, right? Like
yeah.
top guards of the class.
Did he cut out or me?
Did I cut out?
No,
No,
we can hear Derek right now. Yeah.
Wait, are you what?
Yeah, it was.
Going?
It's my connection. Keep going. My fault. fellas.
Okay.
Oh, add
No, you're
Harden to that tier. Add Harden to that tier.
Sure. Yeah. So
That'd be
Harden is there,
Harden,
right?
Harden, Curry. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I mean, I think Harden adds a fun wrinkle to it, but Luka and Shea, I think it's fair to say, are that caliber as far as MVP guards,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Compared to the Russ, Steph. Obviously, if you take one of the over, that's fine. I'm not going to argue that, but that caliber. The next crop, and I'll keep it with point guard, so I won't throw Ant in like into the mix. But like the next crop is still Steph, mind you, even as like an older form. Cade, Harden, Maxey, Brunson, technically Booker if you don't want to throw him in. I feel like that's 5 more I just added.
Oh, you gotta get that Booker. You gotta get that Booker name out the road, man.
I don't
All right,
like.
fine.
right.
Throw him away.
Okay.
That's fine.
I don't want to like glaze too hard, but like, do we agree Keontae George should be like all-star caliber this year? As a guard.
What I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, right.
Production wise, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's obviously tail end of the list, yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. That's fair.
like, and here's the back end of the list, right?
Yeah.
Kyrie, who's not playing, that's fine. Harden, still really good. De'Aaron Fox, still really good.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, still really good.
Best year of his career.
So,
yeah.
Like, we're getting to like and like I said, we're missing Kyrie, we're missing Hallie. Garland's underperforming, so if you want to leave him out, fine. But he was literally an all-star in this like generation. Ja Morant is on this list as well. Like, fine. But that's what I'm. We're getting. By the way, that is numbers 14 and 15.
Tyrese Halliburton too, bro.
So,
yeah.
True. Yeah, true.
So I'm.
If you want to add him,
D White. I didn't even throw D White because I'm going off of like the list of like really good players I had.
We consider Castle point guard this season.
I thought D White was the 2 guard. I thought Pritchard was the 1. Maybe
that's
I'm
why.
wrong.
Yeah, that's why I didn't include him, Wes. Because I didn't include D Mitch either. Because if we throw D Mitch, like that's another.
Yeah.
Like D Mitch right
Tyrese Maxey too.
Whatever. I think I threw Maxey in my original list, but
this is why, like, Derek, what you're saying isn't crazy because when you go guards and you don't make it just point guard, they blew him out the water. The 2 guards couldn't hold a candle, like
right now.
It was a week. 20 teams or whatever, 2010s was a weak 2 guard era in general.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, there wasn't. It was as
the main 3 names was what? I think the OG big 3 guard wise for shooting guards was Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, and who is that third guy? I believe Devin Booker too.
I mean, Booker was hooping. Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else.
I mean, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, shooting guards.
I was gonna say Klay should have been in that list.
Shooting guard too is like if you were a really, really good player at shooting guard, you just now put the ball in your hands and now you're just a point guard. Or if you're like just a shooter, you're just a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, you're a wing now. Yeah.
So,
a lot of wings right now playing point. Yeah, that's facts.
I think it's crazy, and I think the diversity too at guard is also crazy because Amon's damn near playing the point himself, and so like you got like a point forward who's like a defensive juggernaut, but then you've got great shooters that are playing point guard. You still have amazing drivers playing point guard, and like so it's just the wealth at this position. I think it's just unlike any time in NBA history because you can have peaks with guards in every decade, but the depth is just crazy. Like there's really no team that's struggling for guard. Say again, Gifted.
I mean, that's why it's harder to think of trades for Trae Young, John Morant, LaMelo, because it's like when we look around the league, most of these teams have either star guards
Right.
or young guards that they think are going to be stars, so they don't want to like take the ball out of their hands for these other ball dominant players. That's what makes it
part of the
kinda
reason
hard.
why it's like
Yeah,
the
for
LaMelo
years it was
thing.
New Orleans. Everybody felt like, oh, we could dump him in New Orleans. Now they have
Yes.
Pierce.
Yeah.
Right.
The Jazz, for years, it was, well, they need a point guard. Now they have Keontae George, which, by the way, I
Facts.
just must say it again. I have never, I don't think ever at any point in my life,
Mhm.
maybe Hans Reeves, maybe Reeves can enter this combo, because I definitely didn't expect that from him.
What a jump.
But my gosh, Keontae was legitimately a bad basketball player to me.
Mhm.
He is legitimately a really good basketball player now. In an off season, and that's just he's been a special watch this year, man. And the shot making is otherworldly. He's
Yeah, it's
playing
the
with more
shot making.
poise, more
Mhm.
pay. Like
Yeah.
his pacing has improved. But go ahead, Derek. Like that.
I want to read out
No.
like why it's so crazy, Wes. Again, he averaged 16.8 points last year. He shot 39% from the field. He averaged, what was it? Hang on, 34% from three on 7.6 attempts. In 1 year, he went from 60.8 to 24.5. He's shooting 37% from three on 7 threes a game. And his free throw rate is the crazy part, though. From 4.3 attempts to 7.3 a game on 90% from the free throw line. Like, that complete jump in
My
his game in
gosh.
one season is insane, bro. I'm with you, Wes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, and the crazier thing to add on to that is he was drafted as a shooting guard. Keontae came out of Baylor
Great point.
as a 2 guard and was just thrust into point because they're like, well, we kind of already have wings here that do your job. So like, you can shoot the ball, you've taken some big shots, and you know end up handling the ball. So wow, just try point. And which is like insane to tell a rookie player. And yeah, Keontae's what, like 23? He's 22. He's 22
Yeah.
right now. So yeah, the growth and the success
I
this
think
year
he's
is
going to be
crazy.
all-star next year.
I mean, if the Jazz are any kind of relevant, I think they definitely have a chance. Keontae also still is one of the worst defenders in the league, but the Jazz also suck, so that might be part of it.
Fair.
But it's he bona fide hooper. Yeah, just absolutely crazy. The depth of this position is just otherworldly. But yeah, I mean, I know it's about 8 p.m. Do we have any like?
I had one more
Things to
thing
close?
I want to ask y'all for this overall session before we begin planning more. And I'm happy Wes is up here because I got to get y'all reacting to it, okay? Coming into the season, I think a lot of us, no matter where we thought Shea was, Luka was, I think a lot of us picked OKC as our team to win the title. And I'm probably still on that same bandwagon. The Spurs, have they entered the conversation or the era to y'all in any way? Do you care at all about any of, I would say, their matchup versus OKC, which, in my opinion, the Spurs defense in those games was actually better than OKC's. But again, we know those few matchups doesn't really define who's really a overall better team. But is it at least a thing for you now? How do y'all feel about that?
They're too young. Personally, I don't want to squash the spirits of the Spurs because they're doing way better than I thought. Even though I think I might have been the highest on them when we did our preseason stuff, just because the West was so deep. I'm like, the Spurs could win. They're exceeding expectations for I think everyone. As good as they are right now, as exciting as Wemby is, and everyone's playing, it's just a year too early. I think the next 2 years after is when like the Spurs and the OKC rivalry that I think the NBA desperately wants will really kick off. OKC is just too deep, and I think Shea's just too good. So even despite Wemby being so freakishly good himself, I think OKC will always walk into every game with the best player.
And before people like react to this too, we did not say the same thing about OKC last year. I think most of us felt like OKC had the pathway to make it to the finals last year. The Spurs are like a whole different team to me.
The championship last year though, but I'm buying into the Spurs being able to knock off OKC in the playoff series.
Okay.
I think we said that thing about the team being too young last year about OKC and they won. So I'm going to go ahead and change a little bit my perception about that concept.
Okay.
And the reason why I also think that they can beat them, not saying that I would favor them, but I think it's possible, is because what carried OKC throughout their run, which is defense. When you're an elite defense, you just allow yourself to be in games, and then that it just comes down to, late game shot making, who has it going, and that's a toss up. That is a toss, especially considering that OKC is known to not have the best knockdown shooters out there with Shea anyway, right? And I still question, and I always will. I'm questionable about Chet offensively as an offensive player. Plenty of people say I have plenty of questions about J-Dub. So I think it is definitely on the board. I think if the Spurs had beat them doing some outlier things like, outlier jump shooting or something like that, then I wouldn't take away, as much from these regular season matchups. But the fact that they've just been able to hang their hat on, beating OKC at their strength, which is being the better defensive team and better defensive unit, because they have this 6'7" behemoth out there that just shuts down the paint.
Right.
And then they have good point of attack defenders that, not the greatest, but definitely people that you don't mind guarding Shea with Stephon Castle. You'll throw Fox at him a little bit. Vassell does nice on him. Who else? Dylan Harper as well has been a surprise defensively this year. And also their ability to have multiple ball handlers that can, dribble penetrate against all of the point of attack defenders that OKC has. I just think, that's a tough matchup for OKC.
Here's my take on it, right? Yeah. My bad. You can go ahead.
You go.
Okay. Here's my thing about it, right? I don't like overrating teams based on regular season matchups. It never goes well. I've seen teams lose every game of the regular season matchup and then get swept in the playoffs by that same team. I've seen that before. I'm just going based off what I saw. And in my opinion, the only team to put chinks in the armor of this damn near perfect OKC team was this Spurs team. And a lot of the reasons why are they have multiple ball handlers that can quickly make choices in passes. And more importantly, they lead by example on defense. But the bigger thing is this is not Wemby Glaze, actually. They look like a competent team on both ends without Wemby consistently. And they've done it in these matchups where we're seeing Wemby play limited minutes and they still look like they know exactly what to do. I want to say this too. De'Aaron Fox is a player that a lot of people shit all over in offseason, all over. I remember the first game that he came back of this year. I forget if it's the first game, but it was definitely one of the first. It was ironically versus my team, which we're the only team in the league to beat them twice. Go Warriors. But in that game, he was doing dumb shit. The shots weren't good, all this stuff. I said, give him grace. He has not played. Since that point, De'Aaron Fox was carrying the torch for the Spurs. But the fact that they have him and Castle takes so much pressure off of Dylan Harper, who Harper as a rookie should not be this composed, should not be this effective as a finisher at the basket. And Castle, to me, is not getting enough love because Castle is finishing games with 11 or 12 assists. He is spamming plays to not only Wemby, but the other big they got, which I loved from the Celtics, Luke Cornett. Like, they just have multiple guys who can make choices. And when you have that, plus you have an elite defense where Castle is great on defense. Keldon Johnson, tall on defense. They have so many guys all the way through. It gives them enough variance. And then they have guys like Barnes, who he might be some dog shit, right? But he can be a swing piece where, oh shit, Harrison Barnes has 20 points. Why is he making these threes? Like, that melting pot of things.
They want to win, for real.
I do hear you.
Yeah, that's the next thing.
I do feel like he's a loser a little bit.
No, but he's been really good for them this year.
Exactly.
I understand championship.
Yeah.
And I understand championship aspirations. So I get that, but
He's been
Man, he's
good.
been effective.
But
Yeah.
listen,
Definitely-
that's the point,
definitely
right?
helpful.
Like having a swing piece like that, though. Like in the playoffs, sometimes you just need a guy to go off for a 3-minute stretch, and that's the difference between being out in the first round or going to the finals. Sometimes just having a guy who can do things like that. And I think that the Spurs, on top of having a competent defense with and without Wemby, puts them in that real conversation where they could beat OKC. Because in the matchups, to me so far, it looks like the Spurs have had the better roster because they're saying, Alex Caruso, please shoot these threes in the corner. Lou Dort, we do not care. Pull these threes. We're not letting you get these same attempts up. And I think that's the difference. Am I saying that makes me take them right now? I don't know.
But here's the other thing, though,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Because if they start hitting shots, then that is a problem. Because not like Alex Caruso doesn't have a history of being able to hit open threes. He's been a 40% 3-point shooter the past 2 seasons, I want to say. Same with Lou Dort. As much as we shit on Lou Dort has routinely been a 40% 3-point shooter. I think the good thing about them, and Jason Tipp actually brought up this stat talking about OKC, they're actually still top 5 in the league as a team on wide open threes, right? But they're a bottom 5 team in the league on slightly contested to contested threes, right? So if you're able to get a good run out on a Caruso and a Lou Dort, and I think that's what San Antonio does, right? People shame a late closeout, but a late closeout is better than no closeout.
That's a fact.
So you go out there, you get a late hand up. That affects those shooters on OKC, because if you leave them wide spaking open, eventually they're going to start hitting those shots. But if San Antonio does a good job of at least giving a soft closeout, a little hand up, and that's made a world of difference against OKC this year. Not just the Spurs, but again, any team.
Yeah, so as the resident OKC fan, I'll say this. Okay. Two of our losses, we shot one of them we shot 24% from 3, the other one we shot 25. So a wash. Like we shot really, 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 really poorly. And one game we lost by 2. That was the first game we lost to the Spurs when we lost to them 3 consecutive times. In about a week or 2. And then the next game was a 15-point loss. The one game we shot well from 3, we couldn't stop them if our lives depended on it, right? So they have been a really, really tough matchup, and I give most of the credit to Mitch. Mitch Johnson has been phenomenal in these matchups. He has coached his tail off. I don't know if it's him or 2005 Pop. Like it has truly been special for the matchup. That said, I still expect us to win in a series. I think there are some things I'm banking on that I have not seen yet in these matchups this year that I would be banking on for the playoffs. Number one, Jada being a better version of himself. I think the thing that gets lost oftentimes, maybe not amongst his panel, but I think across the lay of the land, hey, Jada, he's so much worse. We told y'all Jada wasn't good. It's like, yeah, Jada couldn't use his right hand for 3 months. let him work some things out. Let him just regain his feel on a basketball court. And I think that come playoff time, he will be a better version of himself. I'm hoping. But more than anything else, they have to get to us to play us.
Sure.
And I don't have them getting to the Western Conference Finals. So that is my number one reason. If Denver can maintain, now huge if.
Wow.
But it's
look
either
at Ritz face.
Wow.
What is that?
It works out that way sometimes.
You gotta have
You need someone else to take care of him.
No, but seriously, that's a big part of this, and I think that granted, I would still pick us in the series, but I would expect that series to go 7 with everything that I've seen, because I do think they're a poor matchup for us.
Who's supposed to be beating San Antonio? I think
Denver for sure can, and it's gonna piss some people off up here and probably listening. But I do think I think the Rockets could win that series. I'm not picking.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
picking them,
Yeah.
but I do think the Rockets in the series because again, it's all matchup based, and I think the
Yeah.
Rockets match up well with San Antonio, and I think Denver. I just think Jokic will solve them to the degree that he needs to win. He may not be,
There's
what
this
he is in the regular
blind faith
season.
in Nikola Jokic hasn't paid off in years, by the way. But I
I
hear you, I
just
guess.
Nah,
I just
mean,
want to say
he lost the only time he's had one year where he lost to a team that he wasn't supposed to. So that's a
but okay,
big
but though, right? I do want to point out, Wes, ironically, because I don't forget this because I watch every minute of this game. Ironically, the 1 year where Denver needed to beat the Spurs for seeding purposes, when they were trying to win that game, they lost. And Wemby was spectacular. And this was before they had all the talent they had now. They won that game, which led to them having to go up against the Wolves, which they lost.
right.
So I feel
right.
like a matchup with how Denver looks now, I think they could be more composed. I think MPJ, by the way, which we have not talked about yet either, not having a sizey shooter like that in a vacuum could actually hurt them more in a full playoff series with them. I think we've seen Jamal Murray struggle when you see size is put on him, even though he's having I would argue, the best year of his career so far. Like, I think that's a gettable series for the Spurs, but I understand favoring Denver. I think that's fair to do.
I actually think the second best team to beat San Antonio, other than OKC, and I actually have this team being able to beat a ton of teams in the West, is Minnesota. I think Minnesota is a great playoff team. They just have so many good things. They can guard on the perimeter. When they have shooters, they're kind of inconsistent as a jump shooting team as well. But DiVincenzo can shoot shots, Julius Randle can shoot, Nas can shoot, obviously Anthony Edwards, and then I think they'll be able to, against San Antonio, they'll have fun with that. Nas and Randall at the 4 or 5 and pulling Wemby a little bit away from the basket. Or if Wemby's going to be conceding these open shots, those are two players that can consistently hit wide open threes. That's the thing about Minnesota that really does, like, they're kind of known as this grit and grind team and whatnot, but they can shoot the ball if you sit there and leave them open. That's what they did against us. I do know that. They shot the hell out the basketball against us.
The only thing that makes me nervous about Minnesota, though, is, and they've had this problem for like a while now, like, they do need to get better point guard play next to Ant consistently in spots. This whole, like, listen, I've been saying it for years. Nas Reed got to be the most overrated nigga in the sport. Like, I'm really getting to, like, yes, he's Jelly Fam. Yes, he is 6'9" or 6'10", but the numbers consistently when he's on the floor without Gobert being the 5 have been terrible defensively, and they bleed a ton of value. I think their best trait for being a good team is the fact that Randall actually has been having a very good year this year. I would argue Randall might be having his best year as a pro as well right now. And it's like consistently betting on that and their coach to make competent choices, because my goodness, the Wolves FC, every game that they lose, their coach do be on some bullshit. It's up and down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an intriguing point. I just know as a team that, like, I had to play them last year with no Steph, their offense can get so in the mud, regardless of who they're playing. It leaves room for them to be dominated if you're going up against a very good defense. And that's what the Spurs are. That's why the Spurs have a good shot to beat all these teams. Their defense, if I can say that your defense through a 3-game sample right now has looked better than the best defense in the league, you have a chance.
But I don't think they can guard Ant. I think Ant's a better player than he was last year. And I just don't think they can guard Ant. So, but I guess I'm at a point with Anthony Edwards as a scorer. I don't think anybody in the league can guard Ant, including OKC. I just think his first step is too dynamic. His handle has gotten too good, and he's too good of a pull-up shooter as well from mid and 3-point. Like, he creates space pretty much with the best of them in the league. It's just a matter of if he's missing shots that night. But
fair,
the Spurs can't guard Anthony Edwards.
I was Yeah, I was gonna say to land my plane on the Spurs. I think they've, in many ways, they're like OKC 2 years ago, where they lose the Mavericks in a tough second round, tough second round matchup,
Okay.
and they're just like a little ahead of schedule. Long
Mhm.
term, this is going to be a finals contending team, basically as long as Wemby and Co are healthy.
Mhm.
But I think like Minnesota's a great shout. Houston's a fantastic shout. Honestly, next time we record is when I do want to talk about the Rockets because there's many a take. We can talk about that team.
Fair, yeah.
But I'm taking all those teams have that on top of obviously like really good matchups with the Spurs themselves. That playoff experience, I think, is what's going to carry them in that series. And I mean, I think I said preseason, to me, the golden season for the Spurs this year, barring multiple miracles, is a first round win and a hard fought second round exit. And I think
Yeah.
that's what they're on pace for. Right now, if the season ended, they'd be playing the Suns, playing obviously, but like Suns, Warriors, Blazers, Grizz technically is who you're playing would match up. I'm taking the Spurs against every one of the teams. Sorry, Gifted.
Hey, listen. Only team to beat them twice.
Yeah, right. So, but like, regardless, I think it'd be a cool first round series, and then
Sure.
and then from there they could very well see a Minnesota or they could see a Houston, and I think while the Spurs would play great, I think Wemby's going to look really good, and everyone's going to play well for the Spurs. But I'm just picking the opposing team in that scenario. So, and then I think very next season we'll be talking about it. It'll be Spurs versus Thunder. I think that's what we're on pace for. So I love it. The Spurs are fantastic. I love watching them play.
Yeah.
But the West, man, the West is ready, and the Thunder are gonna have plenty of test for sure.
It sounds like we all still agree that the biggest comp for OKC is clearly in the Western Conference. If they make it out the West, they're winning the title. Like,
It feels that way. Yeah,
I'm on that still.
yeah. Even if Tatum comes back, for the Celtics,
Depends on what's happening with that guy in Boston.
Yeah,
Damn, so you really
know,
move by
man.
it, man.
I'm
Really
not there.
West.
That front court, man.
You know why
That
I'm
front
so
court.
moved by him? Missoula. He's special.
He been on
dude.
point.
He's
been on point
a
this year.
really
Respect. Yeah.
good coach. And then on top of that, I think that they may be active at the deadline. Now I'm not sure, but
They should
they know if Tatum is playing this year. I think the deadline will tell us everything we need to know on if Tatum
That's
is
a
playing.
fair
If they're
point.
aggressive and they move Simons for a real piece, they
That's
try
for sure.
to shore up their front court. Just pay attention to what they do at the deadline.
Who's
And I
some
think
players
that'll
you
let
think
us
that will move the
know.
needle for them, though?
Just go
We'll
get
have to say
a
that for another episode.
yeah.
Unless
Facts,
someone
facts,
else
facts.
has it off.
Facts.
But
Yeah,
that's a really,
smart
really
idea,
good
Wes.
question, and I would really love to dive into that topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, we've been live for 3 hours. I'm not gonna lie to you, it went by really quick. We have not done this in some time, but we hopped right back on the bike. A lot of good talks overall and whatnot. So yeah, this is the first episode of 2026. We will be trying. Okay, how often monthly do you guys want to do these?
Excellent question.
What, one or two
Whenever our
times a month?
schedule permits.
Okay.
Well, how often were we going? Was it like twice?
I think we were on a
much.
pace for twice until we ran into like our just schedules never permitted us
Yeah.
recording, and then we had the playback stuff happen.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
ideally, like twice a month. Yeah, every 2 weeks.
All right.
I think that's a good.
I think it's definitely doable.
Yeah, I would say that too. So yeah, we'll map out another time for this month. I was ideally thinking anywhere between 1 to 3 each month to make sure we have a huge overall basketball sample. You know what I'm saying? But appreciate all you guys. I want everyone to plug their own platforms and where people can find you. I'll put all your links in the description box below. Let's start with Real Talk, which, by the way, shout out to you and your consistency with all of your series and that stuff. Real Talk been killing it on YouTube. Salute to you, brother.
Thank you, man. We're just trying to be consistent. We got a goal of 10K subs by the end of the year. We're on track for that, but we got to stay consistent. But you can catch me on Real Talk EJLT. If you put that in the search bar on YouTube, you should be able to pull me up and subscribe to the channel on that. You can use that same name and follow me on Twitter as well. Same at there as well. And follow me on TikTok. Trying to grow on TikTok too. I kinda wanna get TikTok famous. So follow me on
Word.
TikTok as well.
I'm gonna add you as a collaborator to this stream after it ends on YouTube. There's a new feature where after the stream ends, you can add a creator as a collaborator, so like your fan base will be able to find this and all that stuff,
Oh
vice
yeah, I
versa.
have been seeing that. But thank you. I don't know
I
how
got
to
you on
do
that.
that, but I have been seeing that
I'm a-
is possible.
I'm a nerd, unfortunately, so I got you on that.
Hey, no, unfortunately, that's clutch. I mean, I'll keep mine brief. Wes has more to plug than I do. You can find me at Derek R. Stein on Twitter. That's the only plug I'll pretty much have for now. I'm gonna look into the YouTube stuff since sadly Playback is deceased for the time being. So until he gets resuscitated, I'm gonna look at YouTube a little bit and see what we can do. But I'm gonna be with everybody else you see up here, collabing pretty often. So great time, and yeah, that's all I got. It's good to be back, boys.
Salute to Derek.
I'm gonna get y'all on an episode of Bottom Line as well.
Yes,
So y'all,
please.
Anytime,
Hey,
anytime.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and no, mine will be brief like Derek's. I'm just a rapper who likes ball, man. So
sure. Real shit.
West and West on all platforms, but like no funny. If when I'm talking ball, I'll be on Get This Platform or Derek's or Real Talks. I don't really have a platform for talking hoops. You want to help me out? Go stream Familiar Stranger. Again, you want to help me out? Go stream Familiar
Tap in.
Stranger. Just dropped my EP January 1st. I do think it's my best work thus far. And that's it, man. That's actually why I couldn't come up today. I was out doing some press for that, but
Yes, he was.
yeah, just keep supporting these fellas. They're beautiful human beings. No pause on that. Great men, great dudes, and we're locked in.
Absolutely. And I am very thankful for all of you to have rejoined me on this 2026. Should be the year for a lot of us. The work and all that is going in. I've been hard at work branching out to teach myself more about the YouTube process. Again, I don't have a team, so for a lot of this for me, I learned how to create thumbnails, editing process, all that stuff. Thankfully, I was able to get more work guarantee under Bleacher Report, so that's fire. But my goal is to just make more streams and get back to making breakdown videos on YouTube. I'm working to be the best content creator I can be. Shout out to Real Talk for holding it down and the other people that we all know in the NBA community. But we will catch y'all. I'm trying to find a name for this.
Wait, I forgot. I have an
Go ahead.
employer now. You can catch me Mondays and Wednesdays on Player's Choice, the panelist web.
There you go. There you
Just
go.
in case, you know.
Yes.
Beautiful save.
Yes.
Beautiful
Make sure to
save.
get all of it out. Tap into the panel. All that stuff there for sure. In terms of this channel, you can expect 4 streams a week. I'm gonna say 2 videos. I'm trying to get back to like video essay bag, but recently I've just been really focused on streaming these games and watch parties. Also in the Discord, there are going to be more events for that as well. I want to do some more movie talks. I just saw Marty Supreme. I want to have like an in-depth conversation about that sometime this week, but I am branching out to be more consistent as a content creator. Again, I work full time, so this shit is hard, but we are working. It's our year. We'll catch y'all in the next one. I want to end this episode by asking, what do y'all want to call this? Because I've been going through like names of this in my head, and it just says NBA panel right now, but I'm not trying to steal the swag from Player's Choice and shit. Like, what are good names to y'all for this? I don't know.
The 4 Horsemen.
That's not bad. Yeah. The first thing that came to mind was the Quattro, so I like the 4 Horsemen better. Yeah, quartet's not working. Shoot. No. Shoot, that's a brainstorm activity.
You know,
4
that's
Horsemen tentatively. Yeah, but we can brainstorm that one. Chat,
Sure,
if you have
sure.
any ideas.
Sure. We'll say that for right
DM
now.
us with ideas.
I'll chat with these guys offline on names like that, but we should be back later on within the month. But peace out, y'all. Have a good one. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Salute to y'all. Peace.